Morning, everybody. That was very classy by Jack Hughes. Yes, it was.
And then he responded by scoring a goal and beating Jack Hughes.
Yes, he did. Had a goal and a helper and a 2-1 win. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this final Thursday of the month. You've gotten over the hump, and you can just about see the finish line from here. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Raj back with us today. And it's a good thing because we're going to have to discuss the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for a short segment. So not only is Mark a music aficionado, but Raj is probably the biggest music aficionado that we know. So that'll be an enjoyable segment. I'll give Raj a chance to have a couple of cups of caffeine and get ready for that. Mark, it looks like you're in new digs.
I am. I made it to the Hope Lodge yesterday, and this will be home for me until I go home. Hopefully early May. Hopefully late April, but more than likely early May. And this is my digs for the next couple of months, and pretty nice. No complaints whatsoever. The rooms are wonderful.
I was going to say.
Nice size. Look at David. There's a nice size TV. I can hook my Fire Stick to it. I can watch whatever I want. It's really all I need.
Well, there you go. Ball game.
Exactly. Big kitchens, lots of space. I've got my spot in the refrigerator. I've got my spot in the freezer. I've got a pantry.
So is this like the size of a Residence Inn type room, which is usually for longer stays?
Yeah, thereabouts, 2 beds, little bedroom, it's basically a suite. Yeah. It's
Okay.
nice. I got a little desk here, I'm all set.
Do you get to put in requests for, what you want in your room, or are they all the same?
I believe they're all the same.
Gotcha. Because when they ask me, do you want 2 rooms, 2 beds in the room, or just one big bed? I always go one big bed. I
have to go 2 beds because I have to have someone with me. Part of the deal of where I'm at in this treatment is, right now my wife is here. We could do 1 bed. Right. But she and my mom are switching out because we're trying to keep my daughter's life as normal as possible. And I'm good with sharing my bed with my mother.
Right.
That would be a little weird. When you're 3, it's okay. Right. When you're 56, it's really weird.
I think we'd give you a pass with what's going on, but we probably would talk out of the side of our mouth at some point at your expense. That is true. I will say, so everybody knows who's listened to the show for a little bit that I grew up in apartments, and we lived in 2 main apartments. That's what I remember anyway, because we moved into the one, I think I was turning 6. And so that was the 1 bedroom, and I got it. And my mom had a mattress and a box spring on the floor in the living room. I mean, what a sacrifice for her. For 6 years, by the way, she didn't have a bedroom. 6 years. So then we moved to the 2-bedroom apartment. So she's got her own bed. But in the dead of winter, for like 4 days, we lost all heat. 4 days, dead of winter. I mean, ice on the inside of your windows in your apartment. I mean, it was cold. It was like 29 degrees in the apartment. It was unbelievable. And so, by day 2, 3, and 4, my mom had a big bed and I had a little bed. And we had one heating blanket. And my mom pulled rank and my mom took it. And I don't blame her at all. And by day 2, I went, can I jump into bed? And I think I was like 9th grade or something like that. But I mean, you're not in pajamas. Okay. I mean, you're in going outside clothes. I mean, I'm in 3 layers and a winter jacket trying to go to sleep. So, that's the only one of those stories I got for you. But so I agree, Mark, unless it's below freezing and the heat's not working, 2 beds. Okay. 2 beds.
Gotcha. There have been, I will say, we're on several markets, but if you listen to us in the Fort Myers market, we are not on the same frequency we've been for a long time. There have been a lot of changes. So for those of you, I guess, telling us we're not on the radio, we are on the radio. There's been a purchase of the station we were on in the Fort Myers market. And because of that, they have changed frequencies. Apparently now in the Fort Myers market, we are on 96.5, 101.1, and 105.1.
That's
so for those of you,
that's 101.5.
101.5. I'm sorry, 96, 96.5, 101.5, and 105.1. Right, Raj?
That's right. And if you're used to listening on 98.1, it's probably going to 101.5 is probably your best bet.
So there you go. Little housekeeping there for those people that listen in our first market, the Fort Myers Naples market. Got a nice post yesterday on X from someone catching us on 10:10 a.m. in the Tampa market who just found us last week. So for those of you in Tampa, appreciate you listening. And Jacksonville, Huntsville, Lake City, Port Charlotte, we appreciate all you listening to the show.
Hockey returned last night. All right. Most everyone who played in the Olympics who was supposed to be in action last night was in action. Nathan MacKinnon didn't play, though, for Colorado. Makar did. MacKinnon didn't. All right. Some guys are banged up. Like we find out now, Sidney Crosby's out at least a month. That's how bad his injury was when he couldn't play in the semis and the finals of the Olympic hockey tournament. Ottinger hadn't seen a lot of action in the last 3+ weeks, so Dallas went with their backup. Okay, and they're giving Ottinger a couple days to kind of, get his bearings about him and practice and that sort of thing. But most of the guys who were supposed to, be back and play were in fact back and playing last night. So a couple guys got the day off, but
who was back playing last night? The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, and
this Kucherov guy.
Right where they left off. We are pounding the table for Kucherov to get MVP. All right. How many times do you have to be this good? They're carrying the best. He's helping to carry the best team in the East. Period. End of sentence. I don't know what more you need to be on the very, very short list of the MVP. A goal and 2 helpers last night. The Lightning are now 19-1-1 in their last 21.
Remarkable. I watched that game until it was 3-0 and I went to bed. Vasilevsky picked right up where he left off.
Did you see? Well, no, you must have missed it because I think it was Getzel. Okay. Getzel is skating in. Toronto's pulled the goalie with like 4 minutes to go, down 3-0. And Getzel skates in. He's alone. There's no one in net. He skates to within almost how close MacKinnon was to the wide open net in the Olympics, and he slides the puck and it hits the post. And a Toronto defenseman's able to come back, get it away from him. They go down the ice and 10 seconds later score. And it's 3-1.
Unbelievable. But I think it was the second goal. In fact, I know it was the second goal for the Lightning. Kucherov's pass was just ridiculous.
Yep.
The play Kucherov made on the goal that was disallowed in the first period was pretty damn good as well. And it should have been disallowed. It was clearly offside. But they are something, as are the Florida Gators, who go on the road again in a game that was tied mid-second half. The Gators just pull away and win by double digits again on the road in the SEC. I mean, look it's interesting because, as Mike Miller talked about, the SEC is still going to get the most teams in the tournament, but it's going to be a bunch of 8 and 9 seeds, if you know what I mean. There's one good team in that conference right now, and I know you like Arkansas, and I think Arkansas is fine, but the Gators are playing at a whole nother level. They are just dominating everyone they play, whether it's in Gainesville or on the road. They are just crushing teams.
Well, what they're doing on the road, I mean, this is 5 straight double-digit wins on the road. Texas is a good, solid team. Texas had the lead at the half, as you mentioned, approaching mid-second half. That game's tied. And then Florida wins by 13.
And what was the stat that I saw? I mean, they went up, they made a 7-0 run. When they have the lead with 5 minutes left, they're 24-1 this year or something like that. It's ridiculous. And then UConn just pounded St. John's in a game that we were hoping was going to be good. And UConn said, yeah, I'm sorry, we're better.
Did you see the stat? St. John's missed their final 24 shots in the game. Their last bucket was with 17 and a half minutes to go in the game.
Tough to win, David, when you do that. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. I've done basketball games where the team has scored 7 points, 8 points, 9 points, 10 points and a half, but 24 shots in a row. Never heard of anything like it.
And the best 2 teams got after it last night in the NBA, and it was the Pistons who took down OKC. Cade Cunningham with the big night after a horrible night against San Antonio earlier in the week. So Detroit, the East isn't as good as the top teams in the West. It just isn't. But Detroit hosted the 2 best teams in the West. They lose to San Antonio, shooting the ball incredibly poorly. Then they play Oklahoma City, and they beat them. Good for the Pistons.
I'll tell you what. This NBA, though, you see who's playing for a team one night, and if they have a back-to-back, I mean, 3 of their top guys won't play the next night. Like Cleveland,
it's ridiculous.
Cleveland beats the Knicks with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. Neither guy played at Milwaukee last night.
Harden's hurt. Harden's got a dislocated thumb. I mean, he could be out for months. Or years. I mean, David, it's a dislocated thumb.
I know.
I mean, how on God's earth could you try to get through that? I mean,
right.
It's basketball. They're not going to play.
A dislocated thumb, or as they call it in hockey, a lower body injury.
Ridiculous. It is. With the 2 young kids that we know that love the NBA, when I try to defend the NBA to people my age, it's hard. It's hard. They end up beating me down. Starting 5, 25 minutes away.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass, your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right. I don't know what's going on in the Twitch chat room. Did somebody die? I mean, you guys are talking about Orlando Pace. Somebody mentioned, it's a shame he's 51. Orlando Pace died? Wow. I didn't have that. I'm looking now. I don't have it.
Yeah, I got nothing.
There was apparently a report 13 hours ago that his family announced he had died, but
Nothing.
I mean,
I only see that on a fringe site.
yeah, two of them are very fringe sites.
Oh my God, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should just be shut down. Just close the effing place.
Okay. By the way, the frequencies I'm getting are 96.5, 101.5, and 104.3. That 105.1's not working.
105.1 is only for the extreme south, Collier County and Marco, basically. But 104.3 was the secondary for 98.1. Apparently, 98.1's gone, but 104.3 is still rocking.
Oh my God. New additions nominated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. New addition. New addition. And Mariah Carey. Close the building. Close the effing building.
At least rename it.
What a joke. And I love Wu-Tang Clan. They're not rock and roll. They're hip hop. They're an all-time great hip hop band. All-time great.
Yeah, why can't they have their own Hall
Mac,
of Fame?
in all honesty, Mac, what site is that on? We've seen it on two very fringe sites. None of the mainstream media sites are picking it up.
I don't think it's true, Dave.
Yeah, I don't either. I need more than this.
Well, I mean, you looked it up, Raj looked it up, I looked it up. There's nothing out there that is credible that's saying it. So I think you can just move on. I think it's BS. The Yankees are retiring Sabathia's jersey. Are you effing kidding me? The whole world's gone to hell.
I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, they announced it late yesterday.
Oh my goodness gracious.
It's their 24th retired number.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Listen, I hope you're having a good morning and a good week. It's finally warmed up a bit late yesterday, and temperatures are much warmer today in Huntsville and throughout the state of Florida than it's been for the last 3+ days. So hopefully that'll pick up your spirits. I say that because I'm trying to pick up the spirits of the two other gentlemen who are part of the show today, co-host Mark Miller, and it's Raj who's keeping the train on the tracks this week for most of the week back in our Southwest Florida studios. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to bring up a topic in which, well, I could lose both of them for the rest of the show. You both have to promise that you will return in the 7 a.m. Eastern hour. I can do the starting 5 by myself, and you two can, get your bearings again. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to bring up the 17 nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2026. And Mark, can we just get one thing out of the way? What's your feeling on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Okay.
It's so bad he froze up.
I was going to say, Mark is disgusted with it.
I'm having some internet problems, so I may have to go to an audible here already this morning. But
well, it happens. Well, once again, it's probably because I brought up the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's why, conveniently, your internet has gone to in a handbasket. But, Mark, is it fair to say your big problem is the fact that they put in people who are not rock and rollers? Yeah, unfortunately, I think we've lost Mark for this segment. That's a bummer. May have to save the segment then. Okay.
We can revisit, yeah.
Yeah, because I want Mark for this segment because his outrage. I got him very worked up for this early in the morning. Very worked up. And I hate to do that. I usually like all of us to kind of get into the show, get an hour and a half into the show before we have our first, outrageous moment of the day. But 17 nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and obviously some of them are not rock and rollers. They're not close to rock and rollers. All right, Raj, we'll move on, but I do have to ask you, does it honk you off as much as it does Mark that they have been putting in non-rock and rollers into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
It honks me off. I can't say as much as Mark though, because that's extreme, and I like all kinds of music, but it does make me a little angry. Yeah.
Okay, here's my defense for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it always has been. How many other music Hall of Fames are there? There's a country one. They don't put in country artists in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Any other music Hall of Fame?
Not that I can think of.
Is there a hip hop Hall of Fame?
Well, David, there should be. if there's
well, no,
not.
but if there's not, see, this is what I think had started happening is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame realized that, well, there's not a Hall of Fame for pop artists. There's not a Hall of Fame for R&B artists. So you're going to have all these legendary artists who are going to have what, not be in a music Hall of Fame? So that's where I think, like, to me, they should almost like have, like, the Pro Football Hall of Fame has categories, coaches, contributors, that sort of thing. I almost think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should do that. They should have an R&B wing, a pop wing, if you will, and then have, the main Hall of Fame.
I can see that, or just change the name of the whole thing. You say no country people get in, but Racer on the chat, reminded us Dolly Parton did just get in. I know she's kind of an exception, but
well, she should also have the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She keeps saying she won't accept it. I'm just waiting for the president that says, well, tough, I'm giving it to you. I dare you not to show up for the White House when the president has given you the Presidential Medal of Freedom, because she is a legend on and off the stage in every way. But we will get to that a little bit later on. There is a story out there which is pretty funny. And I don't bring this up because I grew up rooting for Notre Dame. I don't really root for them these days. I don't dislike them at all. But, I mean, I was an ardent Irish fan when my grandparents were, with us, because that was the biggest thing to them. Okay. They cared more about the Notre Dame game on Saturday than my grandfather even did the Giants game on Sunday. And I was more into the Giants than I was Notre Dame. But this is not a good look for USC. Obviously, USC and Notre Dame parted ways late last year, in which they couldn't come to an agreement to continue one of the longest, one of the most meaningful series in college football history. And USC and Lincoln Riley took a lot of flack from within, not just from outside the USC community. A lot of USC players were like, what are you doing? That's our biggest game of the year. It's not even UCLA. It's Notre Dame. What are you doing? So USC had to replace Notre Dame on the schedule, and Notre Dame had to replace USC. Well, Notre Dame quickly announced a home and home with BYU. And you may not have a ton of regard for BYU, but BYU has just missed the playoff in each of the last 2 years. Just missed it. I mean, BYU's been a top 15 program the last 2 years. Has USC? No. So Notre Dame's got the home and home with BYU. And this year, by the way, they're at BYU. USC announced yesterday that they've replaced Notre Dame with San Jose State. Week 0 in the Coliseum. Could have had Notre Dame in the Coliseum. By the way, you know how many Power 4 non-conference games USC has? That would be 0. Right. So even from a strength of scheduling standpoint, USC could have argued they needed the Notre Dame game, because just about everybody is making sure that not only do they schedule 9 conference games now, but that they have at least one Power 4 non-conference game, so that at least 10 of their 12 games are against Power 4 competition. Now, not everybody, and we will get to that list later on in the show. There's, I believe, 7 teams that don't play a Power 4 team out of conference. USC is one of them. And there's quite the irony in a number of the 7 schools that are not playing a Power 4 team out of conference. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But yes, USC ends up replacing Notre Dame on the schedule with San Jose State. That'll make the alumni happy, right? That'll sell tickets. That's a financial win, right? Yeah. Miller and Moulton. A lot went on in the sports world yesterday. No, really, I mean it. NHL was back, half dozen NBA games, some noteworthy college basketball games, a ton of NFL news. There's a big college basketball or college football story that we will mention and then probably dig into later on in the show. And a baseball story, which, well, may raise your eyebrow. It's all coming up. The starting 5 is next. Thanks so much for being with us on this Thursday edition of Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Hey, Southwest Florida, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. For you that haven't tried us yet, you gotta get in here and try my favorite 5 Chicago-style sandwiches. I got the Italian beef, I got the Italian sausage, the sausage and beef, the Maxwell Street Polish, and our soon-to-be famous breaded steak. Call us at either one of our locations in Bonita Springs and Fort Myers. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Well, not your fault.
3 different things. The Wi-Fi is not working. The room thing isn't good enough. Now I'm using the hotspot on my phone. I'm going to have to go to Verizon because this Wi-Fi is just not getting it done. I got to get a better one, I guess. I got to, because this thing only is in 4G. I got to see if there's a 5G Wi-Fi, if there's something that can work better than what this piece of crap is. I figured I'd get back right before you went to commercial. That was what I figured. With about 10 seconds left, I'd pop back on. Felt like I was living in an SNL skit right there. My daughter is really proud of herself. She texted in the morning, "Good morning, egg."
least you know she still loves you. She starts putting words in front of it, then, and that's very dangerous.
I took Eleanor to a real punk rock show the other night.
How did she like it?
She freaking loved it.
Okay.
Complete with slam dancers and crowd surfers. It was nuts.
Right on. How now? I've not been to Janice, so obviously there's a a pit area there of some sort.
It's basically it's basically a big open alley.
Okay.
It's all standing.
Okay, so it's all one level
It's
essentially.
an open area.
Where was this?
Janice Landing.
Janice in St. Pete.
Is it all one level, Raj? Like, I mean, basically you're all standing like on the floor at a hockey arena, if you will.
Yeah, basically there's the VIP has a little balcony off to the side, but it's basically all one level. My daughter actually, by the end of the show, she wanted to crowd surf, and I said, "You're 13 years old. You're not doing that. Maybe in 3 years you can think about it."
Right, when you drive yourself to the show.
Exactly. If I'm there, it ain't happening. She did get into the pit during the opener, but it got too crazy during the headliner, so she just stayed on the edge for that.
That's good.
And crazy mix of people too. There's like people my age who love the Descendants since the 80s, and then the young punk rockers.
Gotcha. I only know the Descendants as the Disney movie.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people said. Sublime covered one of their songs. That's the only reason I knew them before Eleanor got introduced me.
I did not send it to David Sampson, no.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X.
I'm back, David, just in time for you not to need me for this segment.
Exactly. You could have gone out and gotten like coffee and donuts.
That's the wife's doing that right now. She's bringing me coffee and an English muffin.
Oh, that's nice of her. All right. That's very nice of her. Mark mentioned it earlier, the change in ownership of the station that we've been on for a long time in Southwest Florida. Because of it, the new owner who owns a bunch of other stations. So the sports station that we're on is kind of being moved from a couple frequencies to a couple of others. So depending on where you are in the 239, you could hear the show on 96.5, 101.5, 104.3, or 105.1. Okay. Then again, there's about 4 different apps that we're on also. And there's Twitch and there's YouTube and their apps. So knock yourself out, take in the show however you can, and we hope you enjoy it. Got a good show lined up for you. John Perrotto covers the Pirates. Are the Pirates playoff contenders?
I think they're one of the more fascinating teams in baseball this year, David.
Yes.
Are they the Orioles from a couple of years ago that could surprise and win 92, 93 games? Or are they a little more hype than substance? I have no idea what to expect out of this baseball team.
And that's why we want to hear from John Perrotto coming up in an hour. Greg Wyshynski, we'll talk Olympics and NHL with the former Puck Daddy. And we'll go back to Chicago because, well, maybe the Bears are staying after all. Scott Lewis in a couple of hours to talk Bears. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida, building a better community through BST. That's the frequency. Business, sports, and tourism. Let's start with the NHL. They're back after a 3-week hiatus because of the Olympics. 8 games last night. Lightning pick up where they left off. They're now 19-1-1 in their last 21. Kucherov with a goal and 2 assists. The goal was his 30th. Tampa Bay beat Toronto 4-2. John Cooper not there. His dad passed away. He's going to miss this game and the next one against Carolina. Our condolences to Coop.
And Kucherov, by the way, with the assist, now has 700 career helpers.
Yeah, you can get that Hall of Fame thing.
Oh, there's no doubt. That's a Hall of Fame player right there.
Yeah, he could stop now. He's a Hall of Famer. Sabres 2-1 over the Devils. Tage Thompson, the Olympian, with a goal and an assist. Very classy move by Jack Hughes. Obviously, game in Jersey. Devils honoring him, sold out crowd, chants of USA, USA. Hughes goes over to the Sabres bench and says to Thompson, get out here. And arm in arm, they do a little skate.
And give it up for the Jersey crowd.
Yep.
Because there was a great pop for Hughes. When he grabbed Thompson, the crowd erupted. Right. Absolutely erupted. So give it up for the Devils crowd.
Absolutely. Very classy. Sabres 2-1. Caps 3-1 over Philly. They're now tied with Boston for the final playoff spot, but the Bruins have 3 games in hand. Dallas got 2 goals from Wyatt Johnson in a 4-1 win over the Kraken. Avs with 4 in the second. They beat the Mammoth 4-2. Winnipeg beat Vancouver. Hollebuck didn't play. The Jets won in overtime. Vegas with 5 in the third to beat the LA Kings 6-4. And Joel Quenneville became just the second coach with over 1,000 wins as Anaheim rallied to beat Edmonton 6-5. The other coach with 1,000 wins is
Scotty Bowman.
Scotty Bowman, that's right.
So you're telling me Draisaitl and McDavid lost? That's a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot. The bridesmaids, as they call them.
Did McDavid play? Because I didn't see him on the score sheet. No, that's not true. I think he had 2 helpers. Okay. But they blew a 4-2 lead in third also, did Edmonton. 6 games in the NBA. The Pistons beat Oklahoma City and Detroit 124-116. Jalen Duren with 25 points, 15 rebounds. Cade Cunningham to chance of MVP. Hey, why not? 29
come on.
13
SBA's
assists.
not going to play enough games to get there, I don't think.
Oh, and he's playing on the team, which by percentage points now has the best record in the league. So why not? This could be the, Derrick Rose MVP? Okay, which was deserved. Okay.
Well, but I don't see, I mean, I'm with you, but I don't know if there's Jokic is the best player stats-wise.
Right. Yeah. But Derrick Rose got the MVP, I think, over LeBron one year during LeBron's prime. But the Bulls were the 1 seed that year. He had an amazing year. He led him to the best record.
Ain't LeBron, if you know what I mean.
No, I know. San Antonio beat Toronto 110-107. That's 10 wins in a row for the Spurs. They're 2 games back of OKC for the best record in the West. Golden State put 8 in double figures. They beat Memphis by 21. The Bucks have won 5 of 6. They're only a game behind Charlotte for the play-in spot, number 10. They beat Cleveland 118-116. Jokic, 30 points, 12 rebounds. Denver beat Boston 103-84. And Reed Shepherd at 7-3 scored 28. Houston beat Sacramento by 31. How about them Gators? 8 in a row. Alex Condon, 23. Boogie Fland with 22. Florida rallies in the second half in Austin. Wins and covers against Texas, 84-71.
Impossible not to root for a team that's got a player named Boogie Flan on it.
Totally. Here's my question. Can the Gators be a 1? If they
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. But I'll tell you what.
But I think they can be a 2 now, David. And they, they're right now they're on the 3-4 line. I think they're a 2 seed.
Yeah, if they win the SEC, they have to be no worse than a 2. So the rematch of St. John's and UConn in Stores, it was all UConn, 72-40. Worst loss for Patino at St. John's. It didn't help that the Johnnies missed their final 24 shots. What?
24. 2-4, not 4, not 2 shots, 24.
Middle school, when's the last time you think anybody, have you been a part of a basketball game where a team missed 24 shots in a row?
David, I think in 8th grade. I think in 8th grade, we played a team, a public school. I went to a Catholic school. We had 2 really good players on our team, and there were 2 of us and the coach that were from that district, and the coach wanted to bury the team. And we beat them like 80-something to 20-something. And I think that may be the only time I've seen that many shots missed in a row.
9th ranked Gonzaga, 12th ranked Nebraska, 17th ranked Alabama, 20th ranked Arkansas, 25th ranked Vandy, all won at home. Hats off to South Florida. The Bulls won their 20th game of the year and their 6th in a row, 75-56 at Rice. NFL. The Bears and the state of Illinois expected to announce later today that, they have a similar agreement as the one the Bears have with the state of Indiana to play in Arlington Heights in the future. Bears also allowed starting linebacker Tremaine Edmonds to seek a trade. The 27-year-old's entering the final year of his contract. He's got a $14 million salary and $1 million roster bonus coming up in a couple of weeks. His cap hit is nearly $18 million this year. If the Bears can't find a trade partner in the next 2 weeks, they're going to cut him and save $15 million against the cap. Titans cut their starting center. By the way, don't you think this guy is like a cricket player? Okay. Lloyd Cushenberry III. He's actually a good player. He's gotten banged up a little bit. Titans cut him. Lloyd Cushenberry III.
Sounds like someone that should be on the polo grounds, David.
Totally. He failed his physical, and that's why the Titans cut him. They also cut starting safety Xavier Woods. Broncos hire away the Colorado's defensive coordinator, Robert Livingston. He's going to be part of their defensive staff. And the Jags are getting a lot of heat, as it was reported yesterday that Tony Boselli, their president of football ops, their GM, their head coach, they're not at the combine. The Rams have done this in the past, and I don't remember them getting grief. By the way, the Jags have 40 staff members at the combine. They got like every scout imaginable. They got their whole medical staff. But the big
the most important people to be there is your medical staff. Now, I understand maybe the interview process is big to a lot of teams. That's where I could see them getting a little grief, David.
Yes, and that's what most of the teams are saying. They're like, really? You don't even want to talk to these guys? All right, college football, mentioned it earlier. USC ends up replacing Notre Dame with a week 0 game at home against San Jose State. And USC will not play a Power 4 non-conference team this year, one of only 7 Power Conference schools to do so. We'll get to the list a little later on. And this is maybe the big college sports story of the day. And we will dive into this later.
It's been going on for about a week. I've been reading about it, and this has got some meat on the bone to me, David.
The Oversight Committee, all the talk about tampering, And one of the things that's really honking off the coaches is that, wait a minute, what do you mean you took my safety? He wasn't even in the portal. What the heck? He was at a team meeting 2 days ago. Yeah, the oversight committee to cut down on schools getting transfers from kids who are not in the portal. This is their recommendation going forward. Schools that do it, the head coach is suspended for 6 games. By the way, can't appear at practice either. Like, go home, stay home. We'll call you in late October when you can come back. Oh, yeah, the school will get fined 20% of its football budget. Think of how many millions that fine is. And they'll lose 5 roster spots the next year, period. Wow, that's serious. Now, that's just what the committee recommended. We'll see if they go through with it. Baseball, Max Scherzer says, you know what? I'm up for a 19th season. He's coming back to the Blue Jays. Mad Max has 221 wins, 3 Cy Youngs, and nearly 3,500 strikeouts. Obviously a Hall of Famer. And the Yankees announced they're retiring their 24th number 52 for CC Sabathia.
Thank goodness I just finished that bite of English muffin, because if you would have said that while chewing, I may have thrown up.
He pitched 11 years with the Yankees, won 134 games. That's around 12 wins a season. I will say his first 5 years with the Yankees, he was a stud. Led the league in wins twice, pitched 200 or more innings all 5 years, averaging about 225. I mean, he was a horse. He was an old-fashioned ace.
I got you, but Ruth, Mantle,
Yep.
Maris, Jeter. I mean, come on.
Listen, I think they put Paul O'Neill in there. You know, really good player, but should not be in Monument Park. I'm sorry. The Yankees, greatest North American franchise in history. Even they've gone a little crazy with, honoring their own.
If this was a Ray, and I'm not trying to knock the Rays here, but if he did this for the Rays and won them a World Series, right. Yeah, okay. But the Yankees, come on.
Finally, in golf, the Florida Swing gets underway today over in West Palm Beach with the Cognizant. 8 of the top 50 players of the world are in the field. Some of the big names who are not in the top 50 are Brooks Koepka, Max Homa, Shane Lowry, at.Scott, Billy Horschel, Ben Griffin, Daniel Berger. Some of those guys in, some are not. But that's the PGA Tour today. By the way, Jim Furyk is going to kick the tires, do a little golf commentary on the Golf Channel. I think at the Arnold Palmer and the Players, he'll do so on the Golf Channel. He's not going to be on NBC, but he's going to be on the Golf Channel. He's going to do some booth work with Terry Gannon. So, I mean,
curious to see how that goes. He's not Mr. Personality. We'll see how he is on television. Maybe we get a side of him that we never really saw doing post-match interviews, if you know what I mean.
Right. So 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know, brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community on that winning frequency of BST, business, sports, and tourism. You can see it and hear it everywhere. BST.
BST, huh?
All you have to do is put a W in front of it, right? Lee County, the home of Lee County, is WBST, business, sports, and tourism.
Well, I mean, we do a little business. We do a little sports. And I guess we talk spring training, so that even qualifies as tourism. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. FloorMeisters.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
At the Diamond District, we believe more is more.
More diamonds, more selection, more fire. You truly can have it all.
During our Diamond event, March 6th through 8th.
Layered bracelets, dazzling earrings, statement rings. Because when it comes to diamonds, more is more.
Then leave drenched in diamonds. March 6th through 8th. Only at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And by the way, for all you in the chat room on a radio, if you have it, literally the best way to listen to the show on radio is 96.1 HD2. If you have HD radio, it is perfect. I am, EB. I just got here last night, or yesterday evening. I will say they have a pool table here.
Oh.
My buddy was texting me and I said, they have a pool table. He goes, ping pong would be nice. And I said, you understand this is a place full of cancer patients. I don't know how much ping pong they could play. He was the one that was at the Dayton Billikens game, said it was rocking.
Yeah. Great arena. Great arena when FGCU had the play in there. It was fun.
Yeah, I bet. And they take that seriously there. I mean, they do a great, I know if they're going to expand it, they got to go somewhere else. I hope Dayton never loses that. And I don't know where they could go that would get the same type of.
I got it. don't you have to do Indianapolis? They love their hoops.
You could do
it
at
at Hinkle.
You could do it at Hinkle.
And it'd be great.
And I know what you're saying, and I guess that they like that Midwest spot, but I mean, boy, that's two arenas that are 90 minutes from one another. I mean, you're not that far from Indy to Dayton, are you?
No, but they kind of like being in the middle of the country so that you can
fly anywhere. Right.
Mike, okay, if you don't do Indy, a basketball crazed community that's going to go, doesn't matter who's in the game, that arena is going to be packed. Where would you go?
I think could you go to where the Johnnies play in New York? I don't think LA would work. It's basketball crazy, but I don't think it works.
I think you could go to Kentucky. I think you could go Louisville.
Maybe, yeah.
Really
Again, that's really close to Dayton. I mean,
right.
But what we're saying, Mello, is the first four is going to become the first eight, and they're not going to do them. But they can't do them all in Dayton. I like Hinkle. That's a good call.
Like I don't trust Kansas City. I don't trust St. Louis.
Right. No. You're good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday, final one of February. Thanks so much for being with us. John Perrotto, who's in Bradenton covering the Pirates. He will join us coming up in about 35 minutes, an hour away from talking pucks with the former puck daddy, Greg Wyshynski. So there's a couple stories that I know you want to get into. All right. I'd like to combine one with another. It's both college football, but you're into this oversight committee and what they recommended yesterday, in which I got to admit, if they got the onions to go through with this, well, this is going to end one kind of tampering.
Well, it's got to. David, when you're talking 20% of the football budget, aren't football budgets for some of these schools in the area of $100 million?
Okay, I'm curious what they consider the budget. Are you considering what you're just paying on payroll, like for your players, or are we talking
if it's your budget, that's not just your NIL.
No, then for a bunch of big schools, we're talking 9 figures.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 20%. First off, how many universities can cut that check?
Hell, even if it's just payroll, David, if it's NIL, for any school that's involved, it's $30 million. And this all started a little bit when Dabo went nuts about losing the player. That was the first upheaval, if you will. People talked about it. People were angry about it, but Dabo went scorched earth.
Well, I mean, this is a moment, though, for all the people in the sport. This is it. Do you want to put restrictions on yourselves that, hey, yeah, I know it's the Wild West, but it can't be the wild, 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 wild West. All right? Come on now. And so you can't grab a kid from a school if he ain't even in the portal. I mean, can we at least start there?
And what Dabo was upset about is that kid they got out of the portal, enrolled in Clemson, was taking classes, and then decided to go somewhere else.
Right. I think Ole Miss.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
so that's one thing. You said you wanted to combine two, so I interrupted you. I apologize.
No. But I want people to fully understand what the Oversight Committee recommended to be passed in April when they sit down and have one of those big conventions. They want, if you take a kid off another school who's not in the portal, Your head coach is suspended for 6 games. By the way, no coaching of any kind. Not like he can coach from Sunday through Friday and just miss the games. No. Go home. Hand in your phone. We'll call you on Columbus Day. Oh, yeah, the school gets fined 20% of the football budget. That's what Mark was alluding to. That's a fine. Oh, yeah, next year? Yeah, you lose 5 roster spots. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Don't know what to tell you. You cheated. So that's the one penalty. Okay. So, Mark, there's this thing called irony. I think we're all aware of it by now. So, Mark, who was pressuring the SEC a lot to, hey, you guys got to play 9 conference games. We've been playing 9 conference games for a long time. You guys got to start playing 9 conference games.
Well, it was the Big Ten, and
go.
then Sankey jumped on board.
Right. And Sankey then went so far as to say, well, okay, and you guys have been scheduling, you guys have had good schedules over the years. You guys have had no problem scheduling non-conference games that are good. We'll make sure we continue to do that as well. I mean, we got Florida and Georgia and South Carolina, that they play their rival, so that counts. But we'll make sure every school plays at least one Power 4 non-conference game. Mark, next year there will be 7, I believe. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm sorry, 9. 9 Power 4 schools who will not play a Power 4 non-conference opponent. 9. They are Arizona, Houston, Kansas State, Texas Tech, all from the Big 12. And then there is Indiana, Nebraska, Penn State, USC, and Washington, all from the Big 10. So 5 of the 9 schools that will not have a non-conference game with any meat on the bone. 5 out of the Big 10, 4 out of the Big 12. The 2 conferences.
Yes, okay, I got you. I'm with you.
Who hoodwinked the SEC and the ACC to go from 8 to 9, and then both those conferences made sure that all their schools will play at least one really good non-conference game.
Right, and the last 3 champions in college football have all been from the Big 10, and none of them played a Power 4 team on their schedule. Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana did not play a Power 4 team in the years that they won their national titles.
Yep.
So, I mean, look at until the committee penalizes teams for not playing Power 4 teams, you're smart to do that. I hate it. I don't like it, but we don't reward teams for playing good schedules. The committee rewards teams for having the most wins. That's what seems to matter. Other than finally Miami going over Notre Dame because they beat Notre Dame during the regular season. It's the only time that the committee has used scheduling as a reason not to put a team in the playoff. The only time, David.
Well, you know how I feel. All right.
Well, we both feel the same way, but you're asking, you're talking, these are 2 things that I think are both well deserving of long discussions. We're not even getting into the one about the penalties yet. We're talking about the scheduling, and I could talk about that all day. Because, again, how many Power 4 schools did Ohio State play when they won their natty? That would be 0.
Right, non-conference 0.
How many did Michigan play when they won their natty?
0.
Again, the answer would be 0.
Right.
And how many did Indiana play last year? Again, that answer is 0.
Yep.
So why wouldn't you? And I thought that Was it was the AD at LSU that said, why are we playing Power 4 schools? What's the advantage to doing that? A loss hurts your chances of getting into the playoffs. It doesn't help you. It didn't help Texas for playing Ohio State at the beginning of the year.
Nope. No, it did not. Mm-mm.
So what is the point? And, until they put a rule in that these schools have to do it, they're going to continue to schedule a bunch of patsies. Signetti's damn near said as much.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
I do think, though, Sankey needs to publicly humiliate Petiti in the Big Ten.
And he should.
Yep. They should
He's
not
been afraid to take on anybody, publicly with the media. And I would, if I were Sankey at the SEC media days, it would be my number one point when I'm making my State of the League address. Because Sankey kind of goes first. That's how these press shows go. The commissioner's the first guy to talk. And if I were Lane Kiffin, I'd do it. If I were Kirby Smart, I would do it. And I might even tell, if I'm Sankey, I might tell the coaches, I might tell Kirby, get the same guy that you got to write for you for the Spurrier benefit to attack the Big Ten with the same tongue-in-cheek approach.
Quick sidebar. I didn't catch that Fulmer line because he was there too. Okay, Fulmer walked up to the mic and he said, I had 2 bits of material depending on how the night was going to go. And he goes, this was my quiet, polite one. And he tucks it in his thing and he goes, yeah, I can use this stuff right over here.
That was a terrific event. We need so much more of that.
God, we really do.
In college football. That was fun.
Yep.
Guys let their hair down. They allowed themselves to be made fun of. They made fun of others, and no one took it seriously.
Nope. No.
The opposite of the way the media is approaching the U.S. hockey team right now.
Oh, my goodness.
They're either great guys or they're the biggest pieces of dirt on earth, for going to the White House. You hypocrites. All of you. Oberman, the whole Levitard show. I'm sorry. It's a joke. Get over yourselves. You may not like the guy. They might.
Yeah, or they may
or
not
they may
like the
just
guy.
say, I'm 22 yet. First off, to me, when you're in, and I guess I'm guilty of this right now, but when you're in your 50s and 60s, attacking 22-year-olds for going to the White House, I think you need to think back 40 years prior and think how you would have felt then. Were you that self-righteous at 22? Because most of us weren't.
By the way, I would encourage everybody to catch Seth Everett on our show yesterday, and Seth is not a fan of the occupant of the White House. All right. And he went on a vigorous defense of the hockey players and what they said and how they handled it and what they did, and that people are, his estimation, are just overreacting and losing their mind.
By the way, for those attacking the Hughes brothers, that's Rich. Their mother was part of the U.S. women's hockey team. And she made the decision to have a family instead of pursue her Olympic dream. Grotesque. Absolutely grotesque. But I need more time to get into this whole, you got the schedule going, and I love talking about that. I really think it is worth getting into this fine system that's going on in college football, because how they approach this is the future of the sport.
Well, you have to.
And David, are they going to actually do this, or is Rutgers in real trouble? Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. MillerandMoulton.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, Johnny, I know you have a lot of venom all the time. They had back-to-back signature events where all of the players play. After this week, they have back-to-back signature events. So the best players in the world are actually all going to be playing 4 out of 5 weeks. The Cognizant is not a signature event.
Right.
None of the non-signature events are going to have any of the top players anymore. Bridgman bailed after winning because he won it last year. So the best player in the field is Shane Lowry. There's not hardly any good players in it. And it's your choice, of course, not to watch. But to get upset because Scotty, Ricky, well, first off, Ricky, it's laughable that you put Ricky Fowler in the same class as those guys. He ain't in their league. And if you don't like Koepka because he took the money, that's your prerogative. I know you would have probably turned down the opportunity to have $100 million handed to you. I've been calling Piff every day for 2 years trying to get him to sponsor this show.
Johnny, wait till you see the 2027 PGA Tour that gets announced in the next 2 weeks. Oh, man. It's going to be
I think they're really missing out. I agree with what Herrig said. We'd said basically the same thing. Why are you not starting the week before the Super Bowl? Play Torrey or the Genesis that week, whichever one you want.
And then play Phoenix.
Play Phoenix, which has worked really well with the Super Bowl. Really well.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, there's nothing going on. And Sonny, that's it. You know, I mean, the fact that I'm now in this fantasy league, I'll pay a little more attention. But I like, what else am I going to watch Thursday and Friday at 4:00? I mean, really. And I think these tournaments now are so important for the rank and file guy. Winning this changes your life. These events are so big.
Oh my goodness!
You know, and now obviously the majors are. If you can get into, you know, if you can get into the U.S. Open and you can get into the British, it's a, you know, they are screwing the young guy with this new schedule. Screwing the young guy.
I actually think there's going to be a real opportunity for LIV to play more in the States because of what the PGA Tour is going to do. First off, there's going to be about 5 or 6 tournaments that are going to go away easy with long-standing traditions and good corporate sponsors and good crowds. And if I'm LIV, I'm jumping in. And now I'm also trying to, can I increase my tour and get in some of these guys that the PGA Tour is pushing to the side?
Sonny, I don't think so. The Korn Ferry will be better. Will it do better? I don't think so. Because just like Johnny O, I'm not watching the Cognizant. I think that's what most people will do. The TV numbers are so bad for the non-signature events. How are they going to be, a Golf Channel Korn Ferry tour? Because they're not putting the Korn Ferry on CBS or NBC for that matter. So will it be better? Yes. Will it do better? I doubt it.
Have you ever watched the Korn Ferry? Have you seen some of the Sunday crowds? Guy coming down 18 winning. There's like 50 people there.
I mean, the LPGA looks at the Korn Ferry Tour and says, we're drawn.
Well, hell, there are times in which I think the Korn Ferry looks like college golf. That's how few people are out there.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
A little over 15 minutes away from talking with John Perrotto in Bradenton. Covers the Pirates. Are they a sneaky team? Are they this year's Reds? They've got.
Or are the Reds this year's Reds?
Well, but Pirates have pitching, obviously. They went out and got 3 bats. Apparently the best prospect in baseball, 19 years old and part of the Pirates organization. I play shortstop. Just saying. Are the Pirates a sneaky team?
Man, I hope so. I would love just, since I've now, 15 years I've been with my Pittsburgh wife. They've not really been good that entire time. I would love, and we've been to a game. The ballpark is amazing.
It is.
It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best ballparks I've ever been to. And I've not been to a lot, so you can throw yours up that you like better. I get it. But that ballpark's spectacular.
Yep.
And I would just love to see a summer for those fans because they have nothing else there. They're not doing anything else. When you go to the liquor store in Pittsburgh, the Pirates game's on the radio when you walk in. I mean, they're all in. They don't go the way they used to because they're not good, but they pay attention. So it would be great to see. But all right, we just talked about the scheduling in the NCAA. The other big news is the committee talking about sanctions for schools who tamper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Darren Heitner a couple of days ago, this was before this came out of what the penalties would be, 20% of your budget, 5 roster spots, a 6-game suspension for the coach. These are big, big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But Heitner had put out a post, David, and he said the NCAA should reconsider its approach to pursue significant penalties for tampering violations. It has no good options. The options, and he lists 3. Selectively punish a handful of schools to make an example. 2, go scorched earth on every power conference program, none of which are clean. Now, Heitner represents a lot of athletes that are playing college football. I do trust him when he says none of which are clean. I think we all do.
Yeah.
I mean, you do, David, right? They're all tampered.
Yes.
And he says, quietly let the status quo continue. This is the only realistic outcome. And his point is NFL agents and teams are constantly talking before the legal tampering window opens. The NFL tolerates it because the alternative, punishing everybody, would be far worse than looking the other way. The NCAA is in the same boat. Tampering is so widespread that meaningful enforcement would implicate nearly every major program. Selectively going after a few schools would be arbitrary and invite legal challenges. The NCAA already knows how that goes. Going after the violators would cause the whole association to crumble. Do you agree that keeping the status quo and looking the other way is the wisest decision?
No. Listen, we both have been on record for a long time. We were on record before the decade started. We were on record for trying what we have now. We were in favor of chaos. We were in favor of the Wild West. We knew it would take 3 to 5 years to figure some things out and rein it in, but we felt the players needed to be paid. Now, I don't think we thought, to be honest, that they were going to get paid this much as soon, but we thought enough already with the facade. It's not amateur athletics. These guys and gals deserve checks. Now we need to rein it in. Okay, they're still going to get paid.
Are you in favor of these sanctions?
Yeah.
I mean, these are some big sanctions, David.
But Mark, come on, with all due respect, this is a little bitty rule. Think about all they're saying is, hey, you can't recruit a guy until he's in the portal. That's all. So you say to the kid, even if the kid's agent calls you and says, hey, I think my kid would like you say, well, then he's got to put his name in the portal. Because I can't pay this fine.
Because I do agree with Heitner in this regard. I believe everybody's doing it. I also believe that there's no way that the NCAA will go after every single Power 4 school. They'll pick and choose which ones they want to go after. Rutgers, you're in trouble. Minnesota, look out.
Right.
Vanderbilt, maybe. South Carolina, you're done. But Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida, you're fine. Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, you're fine too. Don't worry. We're not gonna take our brands away. We need our brands.
You're making me laugh. I'm thinking the old Tarkanian line when he says, man, the NCAA is so honked off at Kentucky, they just handed Cleveland State 2 years of probation.
You got that right. That's what's going to happen. Tell me I'm wrong, David.
No, but listen, if you're running the athletic department, I'm sorry, you can't take the risk. It's too big a penalty.
Okay, and then you're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to prove there was tampering. And I think that's difficult to do. You're going to have to prove that an agent had contact with a school for a specific athlete when an agent could be representing 10 guys.
All you have to do is grab the kid's cell phone.
The kid's not making the call.
I understand, but eventually somebody from the tampering school is going to talk to the kid. Now, initially, you're right. It's going to be between the agent and the school, but eventually somebody from the school is going to talk to the kid. It's real simple. Just put your name in the portal. By the way, you can go back.
So
now,
let me ask you
won't
this
take
then.
you back, but put your name in the portal. That's it.
Let me ask you this then. The incident with the player, and I don't know where he started, so excuse me here, but the kid that went to Clemson and ended up going to Ole Miss.
Right.
He was in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
He signs with Clemson.
Right.
Then decides to sign with Ole Miss because he was getting more money.
Right.
Is that tampering? He was in the portal. That's tampering. So,
but I don't think the kid, when he was in the portal, but then didn't he sign with Clemson? He was enrolled in Clemson
classes. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So he was no longer in the portal. He's transferred. He transferred to Clemson. If he wanted to go to Ole Miss, doesn't he have to get up, leave Clemson, and go back in the portal? The other thing is that there's a designated period of time for you to put your name in the portal. I mean, but once again, I'm in favor of how many times, like in 1 year, Mark, do you get to 3 times? Do you get the transfer? I'm in the portal. Do you get to go to Clemson? Then do you get to leave Clemson, go back in the portal, go to Ole Miss, leave Ole Miss, get back in the portal, go to Texas Tech?
David, I don't think you should. David, in theory, you're right. you are. I just see the NCAA doing what they've always done and be selective in who they punish and who they do not punish. I don't trust the NCAA to do anything right.
Mark, that's fine. And neither do I. Nobody should. Okay. They're incompetent at 90% of what they do. I think, though, that there are schools out there who would turn other schools in. Dabo did it. He did it. He publicly did it. I think there are 30 Dabos. Easy. And Mark, there could be 70 because all the group of 5 schools, they're losing their rosters, getting gutted. Okay. You don't think they want to stop the tampering? I'm telling you, I think people may turn other people in. Back in the day, they used to pick up a phone and they'd call that school and go, I know what you're doing. If you don't stop, I'm going to go public. And they would back off a recruit.
Right, because they were the only ones that were allowed to, Ohio State and Michigan were the only ones allowed to pay that recruit. Anybody else in the Big Ten couldn't, or they would get slapped so bad that they would be sent back to 2-10.
Well, the legend has it Spurrier picked up the phone a few times and called head coaches and went, you need to back off so-and-so. Okay. Otherwise, and the school's backed off.
From the group of 5 standpoint of what you talk about too, I worry because those kids want to go get paid. They're going to shop themselves around before the portal opens. It's the only way they can guarantee they get money.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass. Your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, Sonny, at this point, if anybody, he doesn't own Van Giesen or Giesberger. I mean, that's the overwhelming favorite on a road course, isn't he? I don't think MJ's got his car. I think doesn't Chastain's owner have his car? It's 2 hours.
So my kid was all ticked off because North Carolina and ECU have a series every year. They play one game in Greenville, one game in Chapel Hill, and then one neutral site. This one was at the Durham Bulls Park. So North Carolina whipped them the first game. East Carolina whipped them the second game. 3-3 in the third game. ECU's got ducks on the pond. Weather comes in. They end up calling the game and call it a tie.
Yep. FGCU, after an 8-0 start, finally lost last night. They blew one against Indiana State, threw the ball around, and then couldn't come up with the big hit. They would hit them like 17-5 and lost 5-4. But they're 8-1. Good for Toe.
Good for Toe. That's a good dude right there.
Yep. Yep. I guess.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Greg Wyshynski will join us then. We'll talk a little hockey. Scott Lewis to join us an hour from now. We'll talk a little Bears. Hoping to catch up here in the next couple of moments with John Perrotto. He covers the Pittsburgh sports scene, and that includes the Pirates, and they're an interesting team to talk about. Either that or Miller and Moulton are just being a little too goobery, which goodness knows is always possible.
David, do you need me for the Bears interview? I am telling you, there is no one in Chicago that cares more about where the Bears move than David Moulton. Nobody.
I have to admit, I am coming off as if that was my childhood team.
Well, and you did a great job of pointing out the reasons why the Giants moved to New Jersey. You truly did. But it is funny that you were able to, that many people pointing out that your favorite team is the team that moves states.
Joining us now is John Perrotto. As we mentioned, he covers the Pittsburgh sports scene, and he does so for Roundtable. Today, it's Pirates Roundtable. All right. Follow John on X, the letter J, Perrotto, which is 2 R's, 2 T's, the letter J, Perrotto. John, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this, particularly at this hour. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Well, we're doing very well. And just to let you know, Mark is married into a Pittsburgh sports family and has Steelers season tickets. So he has a little fondness towards the Pirates. I love the ballpark. I desperately want them to be relevant again. Maybe we're just guilty of a ton of wishful thinking, John, but is this a sneaky playoff contender all of a sudden?
I think so. I mean, I would say fringe playoff contender, but playoff contender. I mean, they went out in the offseason. They actually spent a little money. They went out and got some veteran hitters for a lineup that was just awful last year, last in the league in runs scored. They have good pitching, good young pitching. They added a couple of lefties that throw 100 miles per hour to their bullpen. So the bullpen looks like it can possibly be a strength. I think it, depending on the development of a couple of their younger pitchers in the bullpen. And, it's not the toughest division in the world. I got to believe at some point Milwaukee comes back to the pack a little bit. And the Cubs are the Cubs usually, and you seem to always fall short of expectations. So I think there's a chance. I mean, I was in their camp for a couple of days last weekend, and the optimism seemed real this time. Where other years, every team's optimistic in spring training and thinks this is going to be a good year. But you can tell when they're just saying that, when it's more hopeful than it is where they actually feel this time that they can be competitive. So, where that takes them, we'll see. But I certainly think I'll give them credit for a change. Instead of tearing down their team, they built it up this past winter.
We all know that Skeens is one of the two best pitchers in baseball. You could flip a coin between he and Skubal right now, but to me, it's Jared Jones. If he becomes the two and lives up to expectations, that seems to be a big key to me. How important is that to you, John?
Oh, I think it's a big importance. And, he's coming off the internal brace elbow surgery. It caused him to miss all of last year. I did happen to catch a chance to see him throw a live batting practice one of the 2 days I was in Bradenton. He looked really good. He was throwing in the 90s, and when he's right, he throws around 97, 98. He was right there, like 96, 97, just a small tick below his normal velocity. He says he feels good. The Pirates are optimistic. May 21st is the 1 year anniversary of his surgery. They're hoping that he'll be ready to come back right around then. They put him on the 60-day IL, so he couldn't be activated in May 25th, but they're pretty optimistic that when May 25th comes, he's going to be awfully close to being ready, if not ready.
Talking Pirates with John Perrotto of Pirates Roundtable. Follow him on X, the letter J, Perrotto, 2 R's, 2 T's in Perrotto. Okay, I'm a Mets fan, and I vividly remember 1984 and 19-year-old Dwight Gooden and Davey Johnson pounding the table saying, we've got to have him on the team opening day. He's good enough now. Connor Griffin, 19 years old, number one prospect in baseball. We can still hear the crack of the bat 2 days later from those home runs in Fort Myers. Are the Pirates going to bring them north?
I think, and here's why. And I hate to make a snap judgment with just a week, not even quite a week into the exhibition games, but there's a couple reasons. One, they say they're serious about winning this year. And if they're serious about winning this year, they're going to play Connor Griffin at shortstop starting in opening day. I mean, he's certainly the best prospect in baseball right now. And from I've seen, and a lot of times I like to talk to scouts from other teams other than the Pirates to get, somewhat of a more objective view of players. And every player every scout that I've talked to says this kid's ready. and they think he's ready. So I think if the Pirates are serious, and again, they say they are, I think you got to put their best lineup on the field. And there's something else that didn't happen that makes me think that he's going to be their everyday shortstop. You know, they have Jared Triolo at third base, but they don't really have a shortstop. They have Nick Gonzalez, who was the second baseman last year. He'd be in line to play shortstop, but he's a very poor defensive player, and I can't imagine if he's not any good at second base, how well he could handle shortstop. And they never went out and got that third baseman so they could move Triolo to shortstop, or they also didn't go get a stopgap shortstop that would fill the void into whoever Griffin was ready. So that tells me their lack of urgency of getting an infielder on the left side makes them believe that Griffin is ready and he'll be there on opening day.
They also got a second base prospect in this, Termar Johnson. Is he going to make the big club?
I think it's going to be hard because they got Brandon Lau right now, and Johnson hasn't played Double-A. But I tell you what, you look at him, he's not a very big guy. He's only 5'8", but he's solid. He's put together, and he was the number 4 overall pick back in 2022. So they've had high hopes for him, and he's kind of had an up and down minor league career, but he did finish strong last year at Double-A Altoona. So he'll go to Indy, the Triple-A team, and they have Brandon Lau, who they traded for in the offseason from Tampa Bay, and I kind of figure it'll go this way for Termar Johnson. If the Pirates don't contend, and they clean house with all the guys that they brought in that are going to be free agents again in the offseason, then I would think Termar would get called up in late July and be the second baseman. If the Pirates are in contention, he'll probably spend the whole year at AAA.
Is the fan base?
And Brandon Lau's had health issues, David, as we've paid attention to over the years. Brandon Lau's had trouble staying healthy in Tampa. I mean, that's another factor there you got to look at.
No question about it. I'll tell you what, though, I think that ballpark suits him if he can stay healthy. John, are the fans buying it? Because obviously fans down on ownership and with good reason, down on the GM and with good reason. Do the fans, are they coming back? Are there any evidence they're buying tickets and that they believe that this year they're legitimate?
Well, the people I talk to, are mixed. It's almost like a 50-50 split. There are some fans who are like very excited and they're happy the Pirates have finally decided to add players to the roster instead of subtract them. So they're optimistic that the Pirates could be pretty good if a few things break their way. Then there are other fans who are so jaundiced by the whole thing here in Pittsburgh, and rightfully so, because ownership has been awful for the most part. Bob Nutting, and he really hasn't done anything. I don't think one winner is enough to totally regain all the fans' trust that he's really, really trying to win. And I know there are some fans, I would say half the fans feel that way too, that, unless he would have gone out and signed Kyle Tucker, that they wouldn't have believed they were trying to win this year anyway. And it was just all, window dressing the guys that they got. So really to give a non-answer and a long-winded non-answer to your question here, it's kind of wait and see for most people. I mean, you have some the diehards really believe, and the ones that might be diehards that have long been skeptical or kind of taking that wait and see approach and see what happens.
John, final. Oh, sorry, Mark.
Obviously, wait and see's there, but we know they come. If they start winning, it won't take very long for the ballpark to be full. A 76.5's the over/under on the betting app that I've got in front of me. You got to lay a little juice to do it. But if you were a betting man, John, would you play over 76.5?
I think, and I'm the most skeptical person about the Pirates than there is, certainly in the media here in Pittsburgh. I think they're good enough to have a winning record. And, last year, guys, 83 wins in the National League got you in the playoffs. The Reds and the Mets both won 83, and the Reds went on the head-to-head tiebreaker. So it's not a high bar to set. They've only had 4 winning seasons in the last 33 years. So if they can get to 82 wins, I think they'll make a lot of people here happy.
John, thanks for making time for us, particularly at this hour. We really appreciate it. Safe travels if you're headed back to Bradenton, and hopefully we can talk to you in the season.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. It was nice talking with you.
No, thank you, John. John Perrotto has been doing it a long time, one of the best in Pittsburgh. Pirates Roundtable. He also does the Steelers Roundtable, but Pirates Roundtable, John Perrotto. Follow him on X, the letter J, Perrotto, 2 R's, 2 T's, and 2 O's for that matter. John Perrotto joining us, talking a little Pirates. You know, if you're a baseball fan, everybody's got 1 year when their favorite team was young, probably not going to be a contender, and some things came together, and you ended up having one of the most fun summers that you've ever had, because you're like, oh my goodness, we're playing good baseball out of nowhere. And I desperately hope that it's that kind of summer in Pittsburgh.
I do too. They deserve it. It's really and truly a great fan base. We all know how good they are for the Steelers and Pens, but they've won. The Pirates haven't won in so damn long that's summertime. Like we said, we can't say it enough. It is a great ballpark. It's got to be a top 5, top 7 ballpark in the league. It really does. Might be better than that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how it could be out of the top 5. It's gorgeous.
Right. I mean, you got San Francisco, which is absolutely beautiful. You know, Pittsburgh's a great stadium. I'd still like to go to Camden, and I know it's not what it once was. You know, I mean, I think Cleveland does a really good job. There's some good ballparks out there, but it's tough to say there are many better than what the Pirates have.
Right. I mean, you want to throw in the historic ones and put them on top, okay. But I still think that Pirate Stadium would be in the top 5. I really do. It's beautiful. And I could only imagine could you imagine Paul Skeens pitching in meaningful games? What that joint would be like?
And it's, it's like with the, it's downtown, and there's a lot around the ballpark. So you can go down early and you can do a couple bars and restaurants. It's a good scene. It really is. Walking over the Clemente Bridge is awesome. It's just it's a good day to go to the ballpark. And I would love to see the Pirates be a contender. 76.5, David. You got to lay big juice. It's minus 140, but I would be leaning over on that one.
Here's my thing, though. I don't think they're a playoff team, because I think last year was a bit of a fluke. 83 is a very low number. In the years leading up to last year, you had to be in the upper 80s to make the playoffs. Maybe you could get in at like 86. 83 is really low. The Giants were right around 500. The Diamondbacks were crushed by injuries, and they were just below 500. All right, never mind the Mets falling apart, and they couldn't do it. The Braves and all their injuries finishing below the Marlins in the East. I don't think you're going to make it with 83.
I think 87 probably is what you're going to need to get it done. 88 maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And I think that's too big of a climb for the Pirates.
No. But 76.5, I'm comfortable going over that. I think they can be an 82, 83 win team. But I'm with you. I don't think that's enough for the postseason. But 82, 83 from the Pirates would be enough to get a lot of people in the ballpark.
Yes. Yes, it would.
Because you're still hanging around in August and September. We watched what Cleveland did last year with their late run. We watched what the Tigers did the year before. If you're hanging around in August, you can get there.
Well, and also what John was alluding to, the National League Central could be a lot like the American League Central, where, as we've seen in recent years, you could be right around 500 or below 500 in August and get hot and steal the division. So it'd be great to see in Pittsburgh. Miller and Moulton. Greg Wyshynski to talk the NHL next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. at.Scott.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Hey, Southwest Florida, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. For you that haven't tried us yet, you gotta get in here and try my favorite 5 Chicago-style sandwiches. I got the Italian beef, I got the Italian sausage, the sausage and beef, the Maxwell Street Polish, and our soon-to-be famous breaded steak. Call us at either one of our locations in Bonita Springs and Fort Myers. And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
At the Diamond District, we believe your I do deserves more.
More selection, more sparkle, more diamonds. You'll find the ring for your forever.
During our diamond event, March 6th through 8th.
Explore every cut, color, and carat weight imaginable, from timeless classics to striking modern designs.
Choose the ring that says it all. March 6th through 8th. At the Diamond District. Hablamos Espanol.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, I know it would be close, but Colorado could quit playing right now, and I still think they might be a wild card team. That's how bad the Western Conference is. They probably would miss it by about 4 to 6 points.
Yeah.
Where's your medication list? I know my thing has changed.
Where's the green folder?
Then you're in forward. Maybe that's all the same.
I got Greg ready.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this final Thursday in February. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Scott Lewis, who covers the Bears. There's on and off the field news with them. We'll talk with him in about 35 minutes time. It's always a thrill to talk hockey with Greg Wyshynski. ESPN, ESPN.com. You can follow Greg on X, and you can do so at Wyshynski, WYSHYNSKI. Greg, David, and Mark, how you been?
The thrill is all mine. Come on, boys. You know that. I love hopping on, especially when I'm still flush with the golden glow of American supremacy at the Olympics.
How much fun is it for you? Because obviously, you know, I worked in minor pro hockey for 15 years or so. Most of these guys are Canadian. Most of the people you're dealing with on a daily basis, I'm guessing, are Canadian. How much fun is it to just poke the bear right now?
That's kind of a double-edged sword. So on the one hand, it's extremely fun because, as you mentioned, you know, if you've been in hockey for a long time, you've been around Canadians, and a lot of these people feel like they are better at hockey than anyone else because of birthright. And that's just not true. In fact, I think, as we saw with this gold medal for the Americans, the minute that we cast the net wide enough in USA hockey to find players in Florida where Jack Hughes was born, and, you know, California and Arizona where Austin Matthews lived, like the minute we start doing that, our talent pool gets as deep as theirs, and we can stand toe-to-toe with them and feel like we're equals when we step on the ice, which I think is how it's going to be going forward. I truly think this is a pivot point in the rivalry, but it's a first step. Like, one goal's not going to do it. One goal's not going to shut them up. We got to win a couple more. The other edge of the sword, unfortunately, is that it used to be a lot more fun to poke the bear when it came to the Canadians before tariffs and 51st state and all of these other things that crept into the discourse. Needless to say, as someone who's been making fun of Canadians for at least the last 15 years online, it certainly has become a little bit more toxic, would probably be the word I'd use. And that's just kind of unfortunate that we can't have the fun we used to have.
What are the legs from this? Okay. Obviously, this is what the players wanted. They negotiated it. They got it. Okay. Obviously, this means everything to the players. The league shut down for 3 weeks, though. They got the final they wanted, probably even the result they wanted. But where do you think it goes from here where they can take advantage of it?
Well, I mean, if you ask the owners, the fallout is we didn't make any more money than we already had, and Sidney Crosby and Kevin Fiala both got hurt real bad at the Olympics. Like, that's the owner's take probably on this one. But, you know, it's funny. I don't know if there is going to be a bump in the ratings or attendance. There's never been for the Olympics, but then again, we've not won a gold during the NHL era in Olympic participation. So I can't say for certain that that's not going to be a different condition and that there might not be an uptick in interest. I think what we've seen in the past is that individual players get the bump. I mean, Ryan Miller after 2010, TJ Oshie, my coworker, after 2014. Obviously, Jack Hughes and Connor Hellebuck are going to be two names that are going to become synonymous with American sporting achievement. And what does that mean for their NHL careers and their renown? But the biggest impact, honestly, boys, is going to be for the NHL and its sudden infatuation with international hockey. Like, we're getting a World Cup of hockey 2 years from now in 2028. And so, in the past, they didn't really have a way to capture the momentum of a USA-Canada rivalry, let's say. But now, after Four Nations, we're going to have the World Cup every 2 years before the Olympics. Like, they're much more in tune with trying to maximize the potential for all of this international rivalry stuff and the passion these guys play with and make some money themselves instead of giving it all to the IOC.
Well, and you're right with the World Cup. And as I think, as you pointed out, with the U.S. being there, they've been doing this at the under 19s. They've been doing it and finally doing it at the World Juniors. So the USA hockey's never been in a better spot than it is right now. But let's talk about the league, because last night, one of our worries here in Florida was, will the Lightning be able to pick up where they left off? Well, they did. And this Kucherov guy, well, he's pretty good. If I were to say right now, I know Colorado has the best record. If I were to say the Tampa Bay Lightning are the best team in the NHL, am I wrong?
Ooh, that's a good question. Colorado's real good. They're real good. And probably going to get better as they made a little move earlier this week to clear out a little bit more salary cap space. And the notion is that they'll probably trade for a center at some point. I'd still say it's Colorado. I think that the Lightning have been awesome this year. I predicted that they would win the division before the season. I didn't quite think it would be as dominant a year for Kuch and for Vasilevsky as it's been. I think those two guys have really carried the ball over the line for the Lightning. Bummer news yesterday, obviously, with John Cooper losing his father so close to the Olympic experience for him. But the Lightning come out, they don't miss a beat. Braden Point looks good. I mean, it really is a very strong team. And again, they've done a really good job of filling out the depth on that lineup. I think the dip for that franchise after those cup runs came when they lost all their grunts, the Yanni Gourds and the Blake Colemans and players like that. And I think they've done a really good job in building up that part of the team again to the point where it's of a championship quality.
We think that the benefit to the NHL this year compared to, say, last is that, Buffalo, Boston, Pittsburgh are all right, and Detroit are all right now in the playoffs. Those are great hockey towns and bring an audience. And goodness knows the Sabres would if they'd make the playoffs, because they have it nearly 15 years. And all of those teams missed the playoffs last year, along with the Rangers. Okay, so we think that the NHL right now has a lot of the right teams that are in the playoffs today.
Yes and no. First off, I think it's extremely important that Chicago get good quicker. You need that team to be strong in the Western Conference for a number of reasons, none the least that they're a much more engaging and an interesting franchise than some of the ones that make the playoffs in the Western Conference. But also, I agree with you. I think anytime you can get your larger markets in the playoffs, it's obviously a good thing. I mean, I work at ESPN. We definitely want Boston and Pittsburgh involved in the playoffs. That'd be great. But the quality of those teams, how many Pittsburgh fans are going into the playoffs thinking their team's going to play for the conference title? Oh, not a lot. I think they're pretty happy that, Sid gets to play relevant games, Malkin gets to play relevant games. So even though you've got a lot of glamour NHL cities in the playoffs, I mean, how many of them are that good? I look around the league right now, Tampa, Carolina, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, maybe Vegas, squint hard enough, Edmonton. That's kind of your field right now for the Stanley Cup. And that's not a lot of teams. And everybody else is just sort of hoping and praying they can, pull an upset somewhere.
Do the Florida Panthers have enough time? And quite frankly, are they good enough in these 25 or so games that are left to make a run to the postseason? They got to pass a lot of teams to get there, but not a whole hell of a lot of points. Can they do it?
It all depends on when Barkov comes back. And the only thing that we have to go on is him doing that wonderful charity event with the hospital and him saying soon. And I don't know what soon means. Soon's not a medical term. So if he can get back, they're still the Panthers. And there's always a chance they could put the pedal down and really make a run at a playoff spot. But like you said, time's a wasting. I think at last glance in our bubble watch this week on ESPN, they have like an 18% chance of making the playoffs. You'd need some teams ahead of you to cooperate. They still have enough runway left to do it. It's just I think they need to get Barkov back ASAP. And the other intriguing part, on ESPN.com today, I've got the latest trade deadline big board. The trade deadline is next Friday. Kind of fascinated by Sergei Bobrovsky's situation, like pending unrestricted free agent. If you're a team that doesn't think they're going to bring him back, or if you're a team that thinks that you're out of the running, like, do you explore the possibility of moving him to a contender? I don't know. I don't even know if another team could make the money work, but I'm really intrigued to see what their approach with Bob is. I assume it's going to just be a short-term deal they finally agree on after the season, but it's kind of weird that things have gotten this late in the day with a guy that's backstopped them to 2 Stanley Cups.
We're both shocked that New Jersey's in the situation that they're in, and now that they have Olympic hero, boy, could the NHL use a 1988 closing stretch from the Devils here, couldn't they? They would move mountains to get Hughes in the postseason, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but Sean Burke and John McClain aren't walking through that door like they were in '88. The Devils are terrible. Like you guys know I'm a Devils fan, and they come back after the break last night. They again can only score 1 goal. Their offense is atrocious. I think it's gotten to the point where I truly do believe that the debacle that was the Quinn Hughes trade may have just poisoned the season and knocked them off their access, because if you look at their numbers since that trade went down and they didn't get them, they're terrible. Like, they're the worst offensive team in the league after Jack Hughes came back from injury. Like, that's inexplicable. So the more you think about it, the more you expect there's going to be some level of major house cleaning in the offseason. I think there needs to be a rethinking of the approach for this team, the roster for this team, and especially getting a coaching staff in there that knows how to better utilize the insane offensive talent they have on the team. Not only Jack Hughes, but a guy like Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier. I just think that what they're doing doesn't fit the talent that they have on the roster right now, and it's been a really disastrous season for them.
Less than a minute. My Red Wings, they have a minus goal differential. What's the move they have to make so that they can qualify for the postseason? Because I'm scared to death they're going to crumble.
Veteran defenseman. Like, they could use some help up front. Everyone could. Like a center, could certainly help them out in a bit. But someone that's going to, preferably on the right side. I'm thinking of a guy like Justin Falk, for example, from the St. Louis Blues. Like, he's available. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Rasmus Ristolainen from the Flyers. Like, there's some pretty stout, good defensemen on the right side, especially that are going to be available at this trade deadline if they wanted to bring on a big contract, Mackenzie Weegar from the Flames. But to me, it's just kind of solidifying that blue line behind what Mo Cedar gives you. And they're in a good position. They're them and Buffalo, like you mentioned before, are in the best positions they've been in a very long time to make the playoff cut. And based on everything else that's happening in the conference, it probably will happen.
Greg Wyshynski covers the NHL for ESPN, ESPN.com. Follow him on X at Wyshynski, Wyshynski. Greg, as always, thanks. All the best to the Young family, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
I appreciate it. Sleep has been good for all of us. To report that, but I appreciate the kind words.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. at.Scott.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass. You're all in one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get you one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Are you answering, Skip Low? If not, I'll do it. Okay. Yeah, RCB, we go back with the Puck Daddy.
When he was at Yahoo, right? That's
right,
where that was.
That's got to be over a dozen years ago. Good dude.
You know what question I would like to ask Mick Cronin? I think I could get him to explode if I read a presser. Mick, you've complained a lot about the schedule and the travel. How come it doesn't affect your women's team? Do you think that's coaching? What is the reason why the women's teams had unbelievable success and you don't? Because their travel's every bit what yours is. I think his head might explode on the podium, David.
Yeah, if he could keep it together, I think he would say, listen, the depth of women's hoops is not the depth of men's hoops. But no, I think you'd get him.
I would pay towards your flight out there if
Here's my question, though. If you're Mick, where do you go? If you're fed up with the situation, seriously. I mean, do we want to go through the jobs that could open up here? I mean, you're going to go to Providence? Where you want to go? South Carolina? And I don't know if that's going to open up, but they're bad this year. Never should have got rid of Frank Martin. Kansas State's open. You going to leave for K-State?
Now, I will say, that fits his travel. They're in the Big 12.
I know. I'm just saying, but if you're you're at UCLA, and I understand they ain't what they used to be, but you're at UCLA. You're going to go to Providence, South Carolina, Kansas State. Where are you going? Now, I will say, 2 weeks ago, the Cincinnati job looked like it was opening up, and now I don't know. And he's had a lot of success in that part of the country. I mean, you want to go back to Cincinnati? I don't think he was ever at Cincinnati, but I think he was at Xavier nearby. But, I mean, you tell me where you're leaving UCLA for, or you're just like, hell, I'll leave it for anywhere at this point. I hate this situation.
But I just, with them being one-loss team, and you're right, but I mean, they're going to compete for a natty. And David, maybe the depth isn't there, but when you're in the same breath as the Connecticut's in the South Carolinas,
I know. No, I know. I mean, they're top 5 the last 2 years.
Yeah. So I think you could make his head explode.
I think you'd get him. I think you'd get him.
Because you can't say complain. You've had a lot of concerns this year about scheduling and the travel and quite frankly the money compared to other programs. Why has that not affected the women's program at UCLA? Then the only thing you'd have to really hope is that the other members of the media in the room didn't bust out laughing.
Right. If they could just keep it together, you need 3 seconds from them.
Yes, that's what you need.
I'd like to give you kudos for the best question idea there.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Scott Lewis, who covers the Bears, on and off the field news with them. We'll talk to him about it coming up. Okay. Wanted to talk about this earlier. Had a technical snafu. All right. Let's get back to it. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I am ready. I've got all the nominees in front of me.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Before we get to the nominees, there is not an R&B. There is not a rap. There is not a pop Hall of Fame.
Yes, there is.
No.
There's a hip hop Hall of Fame. There's an R&B Hall of Fame. Now, there is not a pop one, but there is most certainly a hip hop Hall of Fame, and there is most certainly an R&B Hall of Fame.
Okay, I'm sorry. There is a Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame. I apologize. There's a Gospel Hall of Fame. There's a Blues Hall of Fame. There's a hip hop Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I looked it up. I can't find any evidence of it.
They have it on. They do the show every year.
Okay, I'm just saying that to me, I feel where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has gone wrong is they didn't think there was a place to put artists from certain genres. And so they felt like we got to put them here. So, okay. How about this suggestion? If I had said to you, how about if we make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame kind of like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where we have wings, okay? We have a coaches and, what's the word? Contributors. Right. I'm just wondering in which, you got the meat and potatoes, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But if you go down that, over there, okay, that's going to be, rap. Go down this one, it's going to be pop.
Not if you put rock and roll on the door.
Okay.
Okay. I'm on the Gene Simmons category. Are we going to put Led Zeppelin in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame?
Okay. So how about this then? What do you just want to call it the Music Hall of Fame?
No, I want to call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think the building should be blown up. Stop this. It's a farce.
Okay.
It's a complete facade. They've ruined what was a great thing. And Jan Werner from Rolling Stone's an ass.
Well, and he certainly has favorites and
he's a
grudges
joke.
And yeah.
And he started this, and he's an absolute joke.
Yes. Okay. So of the 17 then, by genre, Raj and Mark, you tell me who would be eliminated from your ballot because they're not rockers. Mariah Carey, obviously.
Throw her out.
Okay.
Has she ever even heard rock and roll?
No.
New Edition.
Done. Throw them out.
Sade.
Absolutely out. I
always
love Sade. I absolutely love her voice. I think it is one of the great voices ever. Smooth Operator's a great song. She's not a rock and roller.
She could be in the she could be in the Get It On Hall of Fame. Sade.
Yes. Okay. Music you play for sexy time.
Okay. Shakira.
No.
Come on now.
Absolutely.
I'm just okay. So that's 5. Luther Vandross.
No.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Wu-Tang Clan.
No, and I love Wu-Tang Clan.
Me
Hip Hop
too.
Hall of Fame right now. Done. In.
Okay.
Great band.
So that's 7 that we just took out right then, which leaves us thumbs up, thumbs down, the 2 of you.
Well, Lauryn Hill's nominated too. She's out.
Okay, so that's 8. So now we're down to 9. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down, gentlemen. All right, you're both big into music. The Black Crowes.
Yes.
It's close, probably.
All right.
I don't know that they've done enough, but they're at least
that's
rock
where
and roll.
I am. I mean,
Okay.
but the first 2 albums are amazing.
Okay, I got to admit, it's got to be unanimous or they're out. They're a no. So 1-0-1's not going to get them in. Jeff Buckley.
Not for me.
I say yes.
Well, out. Phil Collins.
No. He's not rock and roll. Phil Collins' solo career was pop.
Genesis.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider his work with Genesis, maybe.
I think Genesis is already in.
Oh, gotcha.
He's
Okay.
This is him nominated as a solo artist. He's not a rock and roll solo artist.
That's pop.
Melissa Etheridge.
No.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Billy Idol.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. That's the first one you guys are unanimous on, for the record. In Excess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Then Joy Division, New Order.
Yes, actually, for me, that's a very influential new wave band at a time of music. They kind of started a genre. I think they are very deserving.
I'm with you, Mark.
Oasis.
They
were.
It's rock and roll.
That's a no. I mean, let's face it, guys. No offense. If you're hemming and hawing for 5 seconds each, that's a no. That's not all.
I'd put the Black Crowes in before I'd put Oasis.
Okay. Pink.
No. It's not rock and roll.
Okay.
And I like
she's got a vibe. She's got a rock and vibe, but she's not rock and roll.
Then what is she?
I mean, I'd sleep with her, but I wouldn't put her in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay. Now, if she's not, all right. What is she then?
She's pop.
Okay. I'm just asking. That's all. I'm just asking the question. You guys.
I'm just answering.
I know you guys are intense about this. This is your guys' wheelhouse. This means a lot to you. Although you hate the guy, you hate the Hall of Fame, and you hate the guy behind it. But if you guys were rockers, which deep down, if you come back, you both want to be. Okay, you would want to be a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. And David, there was what was that? The movie with Cusack and Jack Black where they own the music, where Cusack owns the music store, and they just talk about they're watching the female singer there, and they're like, I would love to just date a musician, maybe be in the liner notes. I don't have to be a rocker. I just have to be around it, David.
You want to be part of the stage?
High fidelity. Thank you, Mr. Spy.
There you go. So for what it's worth, I think you guys agreed on 4 or 5 there.
We agreed on 4, and he's yes on the Black Crowes, and I'd put the Black Crowes in before Oasis. If there were 5 votes, I would go In Excess, Joy Division, New Order, Billy Idol, Iron Maiden, and the Crowes. That would be the 5 off of this list that I will actually vote for when I hit buttons here in a moment.
Can you guys? Billy Idol, a Hall of Famer. Not that he didn't have moments, okay? And yes, he's got a couple songs that 40 years later we all know, we all sing, we think he's cool. We loved him in the Sandler movie, in the cameo. But a Hall of Famer?
He had a Hall of Fame decade, I would say, and that's good enough for me.
Okay. All right. Hey, you guys are much more the music guys than I am. So
David's just upset we're not putting Melissa Etheridge in. That's really what this boils down to.
I'm not upset at all. Okay. I'm not upset at all. All right. I thought she would garner a little more respect from the both of you, quite frankly.
I will say she was kind of a first in her style, I would say.
I agree with that. I mean, I like her. I just don't, I mean, I think Hall of Very Good, Hall of Fame, no.
Okay. I wouldn't hate it if she got in, but, not into it.
Fair enough. All right. So that's the 17 nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year.
But trust me, when this is done, Wu-Tang Clan's probably going to go in, Mariah Carey's probably going to go in, and I'm going to vomit.
Ugh.
When I have to do my appointments and they're going to say, have you had any nausea in the last 30 days? I mean, yes. When Mariah Carey got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I threw up in my mouth.
Didn't Whitney get in a few years ago?
Oh, yeah. It's just a joke. They need to start over. Iron Maiden's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Whitney Houston is. Someone explain that to me.
I will say you do. If you're in Cleveland, you should go, though. Not all of it. I would say about a third of it, to me, is useless. But for how much the two of you love music, the 50-60% that you guys would like, you would love. Bears talk next.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
RCB, I can't help you with that answer, but they are not in. Soundgarden finally got in. Alice in Chains is eligible, and obviously they're not even nominated this year. By the way, after I cast my votes there, the current leaderboard, Phil Collins in the fan vote, is running away with it. Billy Idol second, NXS third, Pink fourth, Iron Maiden fifth, barely ahead of Luther Vandross and Sade. Mariah Carey next. Yeah.
Well, Fish won the fan vote last year. They didn't get in, and they're not even nominated this year. Of course, that was a grassroots effort by Fish heads, but still.
Right.
Mm.
Good morning. How you
Good
doing?
morning. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Absolutely. Sound good. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you for a change instead of just talking to you. Appreciate you coming on this way.
No problem. Well, thanks for having me on.
Do we dare ask how cold it is?
Well, it's like 30 last time I checked, which
That's not bad.
It's not that bad compared to what it usually is.
Yeah, no doubt there. Hell, it was 39 here yesterday.
Oh, wow, for real?
And I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, that is nuts. Trust me. They don't know what to do with that crap around here.
Yeah, that sounds about right. When I lived in California, anytime it dropped below 60, they lost their mind.
That's
about right.
Exactly right.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, and then it's the Diamond District bonus hour on this final Thursday of February here on Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We've had Scott Lewis on the show before, but never where we could see him. So go to twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton and the Miller and Moulton YouTube channel and see Scott. Scott, who covers the Bears, the 79th and Hallis podcast. Follow him on X at, Barb Chair Scott. Barb Chair Scott. Scott's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. Glad to actually see you guys this time. I'm glad to come on in and talk Bears with you guys.
Well, it has been my co-host has been all over this for a while, this pending move, whether it's Arlington Heights or Indiana. How upset are Chicagoans at the possibility of the team moving to Indiana?
Well, I would say most, at least from ones I've encountered, are pretty upset. Me personally, I just want them to build it. They can build on the moon for all I care at this point. Just get it done. I've been, blessed enough to visit half of the NFL stadiums, and the only stadium I've experienced worse than Soldier Field is the one they got in Washington. So I'm just ready for them to get a higher class stadium. But the fans and the people are pretty upset. Chicagoans are very proud people. I think it's underrated how proud we are. I think everybody talks about how proud New Yorkers and Texans are, but Chicagoans are right in there, and we love everything that's in our city. But I do think that there's kind of a bit of a misunderstanding here. First off, if you look at all the stadiums in the league, very few of them are actually in their city. And of course, we know about the Jets and Giants. They play in Jersey. And when the Bears played out there a couple years ago, it took me almost 2 hours to get from the Meadowlands to Queens, where I was staying. So that was long. I just did the Super Bowl, and that was the worst playing Super Bowl ever. 50 miles between the actual city and the stadium was nuts. So this is kind of a regular occurrence in the NFL right now. And if it does go to Hammond, it's literally a maybe a 10-20 minute difference away from Soldier Field. You can still see the Sears Tower and the Chicago skyline from it. But I think a lot of Bears fans just kind of feel blindsided. You know, you got to remind yourself that the average fan doesn't know about politics, and especially not Illinois, Chicago politics. And, you know, the Bears are doing what the Bears got to do. They're trying to play this out in the public to try to get an edge. But long story short, I really think the city and the state are playing themselves when it comes to this, and they got to stop treating the Bears like they're bluffing when it comes to going to Indiana.
Well, was Kevin Warren sly as a fox? Because, you know, Illinois claimed, wait a minute, we met the day before for 3 hours. We were going to put this bill through the legislature. You called us up and said, don't do that. We want to fine tune it. Okay. And an hour later, Indiana put their bill through the legislature. And then the Bears released a statement saying, oh, I really liked what Indiana did. Okay. I mean, was Kevin Warren sly as a fox in creating leverage, or did he really honk off the McCaskies who said, what the blank are you doing? I want to go to Arlington Heights.
Well, the number one thing I think everybody has to understand is nothing goes on in that building without George McCaskey's approval. So George is mad at Kevin. I don't believe 1 ounce of it. George still runs that organization, and I have to give George some credit because he allows Kevin to do what he wants to do. Now, the issue here is Kevin Warren. Of course, we all know he helped build the stadium in Minnesota, which is a beautiful stadium. Minnesota politics are nothing like Illinois, like not even close. Like, for people who don't know, they call it Chicago the Windy City, not because of the weather. Okay, so it's because of the politics and things like that. I personally think that it was a nice tactic by him to try to, you know, get some playing field. But from other Bears reporters, you know, people like Adam Hogue, who do great work for CSGO and the Athletic, he says that the state already knew about this, that they told them a dead head ago that we're releasing a press conference, releasing an announcement tomorrow. So it's a lot of back and forth, but today there's supposed to be a bill. The bill's going to get approved. But the issue here is not the people in Illinois, it's the people in Chicago. And that's why people are saying that the Bears have a Chicago issue. A lot of them want the Bears to still pay off that debt from the remodeling that happened 25 years ago. And a lot of people don't want them to actually leave. So that's going to be the issue, trying to get them to allow the Bears to leave, which is why I could see something like going to Indiana. But I think fans are just upset that you have such this great season, such this fun season. You know, you finally have your quarterback. It seems like we finally have our coach. And then you pull this on us on top of raising prices and things like that. So I understand where fans feel blindsided, but for me, you know, I don't know, I get a kick out of following business like this, but I feel maybe I'm weird like that. To me, I see like the Bears have the upper hand, and I really think it's going to take Illinois to take a lot of look in the mirror, because I feel like the Bears have an edge with the Indiana option.
All right, help me out here, because you brought up the politics. Can Chicago City politics influence the Arlington Heights deal, or is the Arlington Heights deal Arlington Heights politicians and the state of Illinois politicians?
It's a mix of both, because I think that they're going to need that to vote off. People in Chicago have to vote off for them to be able to leave Soldier Field to go to Arlington Heights. So that's going to be the issue right there. I don't think, like, today it's probably going to be something that comes out that the bill was passed and things like that, but then they still got to get another vote. And then there's people from the actual city who are kind of the hold up and might delay that vote as long as possible. And the Bears might be saying, look, we don't want to be continuing to wait for this. We've been doing this for 5 years, longer than even Kevin Warren has been here. And that's what a lot of people who want to blame Kevin Warren didn't buy the Arlington property. This was something that the Bears did, I think, like a year or two before they hired him, with the last president, Ted Phillips, took care of. So that's the mix you've got going on right there as far as like the tug and pull. But yes, they do need Chicago to sign off for them to move somewhere else in Illinois. But they also are going to need the perfect deal to kind of pay for this in general. And I think that's another huge disconnect as well.
Scott Lewis, 79th and Hallis is the podcast. Follow him on X, Barb Chair Scott, Barb Chair Scott. All right, couple of Bears stories from yesterday. A surprise to you at all that basically they're going to part ways with Tremaine Edmonds, either release him in a couple of weeks or trade him for, you know, a 6th rounder?
Zero shock over here. I think it's a real good move by them. I thought that the combine a couple days ago, Brian Poles is a little more open than he usually was. I expected to hear his keywords like flexibility, be smart, and things like that he usually says, but it was a much different view from both him and Ben. Like Ben Johnson feels more comfortable in year 2. He's cracking jokes with the media, making fun of Caleb for having a terrible celebrity game in the All-Star weekend a couple weeks ago. So it felt like a little bit more light. Ryan was more open on the futures of like DJ Moore and Tyson Bagent. But with Tremaine Edmonds, I'm not shocked whatsoever. I think there was a good move when they signed him 3 years ago. I think it was this point. And he had a pretty solid season last year until he got hurt. But linebacker isn't a premium position in the NFL anymore. He has $15 million is on the books. The Bears need to free that so they can help build this defensive line. I think they're doing him a great service by telling him, if you can find you a trade partner, let's get it done, because Tremaine has been a good member of this team. The fans love him. The It's Chicago thing that they do after every win. I think it's been fun, but eventually it's just time. It's very hard to keep a linebacker who's pushing 30. So I'm not really shocked. I do not think they're going to find a trade partner. I would be stunned if they got anything for Tremaine. But I do think eventually they're going to cut him, and then that's $15 million they can use to kind of help build the DL.
Well, there's no doubt, because they're right up against the cap. So it looks like they've got to probably make another couple financial moves. They have their first first picks in the 3 rounds that are theirs. They need a little help on defense. Seems to me too, Scott, they've got to help that offensive line a little bit.
Yeah, left tackle, big hole right now that Ozzie Trapilio is hurt. That was a real underrated injury that happened in the middle of that Packer game. And there was so many things going on in that Packer game. It's Packer week, playoffs, and, Bears are trying to come back from 21 points down. And then that injury, I don't think a lot of Bears fans realize it happened until after the game. So Ryan Poles announced that he's going to miss most, if not all, of next season. So that's a blow. I don't know if they're going to try to find one in the draft, but one thing that I'm hoping, and I think a lot of Bears fans are hoping, so there's a situation going on in San Francisco right now with Trent Williams and the Niners. The Niners want to, restructure his contract so it can be more affordable. I think he's owed $39 million or something like that right now. So I'm hoping, I know a lot of Bears fans are hoping that they don't come up to a restructure agreement. And if he hits the market, that's somebody I would give money to or try to figure something out for a 2-3 year deal. And I think there's somebody else from Detroit. His name is escaping me right now. He's supposed to be hitting the free agent market. So I do think you'll see a couple of vet options, and I do believe they'll try to go that way for that.
He's moving. Remember in Kansas City, his last year there, Tooney moved out the left tackle when they were in dire need, and they voted him team MVP. I mean, he did okay until the Super Bowl. He did okay until he faced elite pass rushers. Any possibility, because he just had a great year at guard. He is a terrific guard. But you think there's any chance they'd move him one step over if they can't find what they want?
Well, Tooney did great playing left tackle in the Rams game too. But Ryan Poles came out on Tuesday and said there's no shot that they're moving him over there. They want to keep him where they got him. So I think that they're gonna have to find something else. Ryan Poles is going to be very creative this offseason. I think last year he did really, really good. I'm not the biggest Ryan Poles fan, as I said on this show, if I've said on 79 and Hallis. I don't give people that much credit for cleaning up your own mess that you made, but I think he did a solid job last year rebuilding that offensive line, getting a Colston Loveland, who was a home run, Luther Burden, really, really good year, and I think that the offense is set. So now he's got to do that with the defensive line. But left tackle is very, very important position, something that they've had an issue with and prior to firing Ozzie. And Ozzie, as good as he was, I don't think he was somebody who was 100% an option in left tackle too. So they're going to have to be creative.
Scott,
so nothing else on the offense? You don't think that maybe receiver depth? Because I think that third round, I think there's day 2 receivers that are really good. And I could see the Bears going in that direction too.
That could be one, especially with the DJ Moore thing. There's been a lot of rumors about the Bears trading him. I personally am on team keep DJ just because I need to see Roma Dunze catch the ball more consistently for a full year. I love what Luther Burden did last year, but do it again. So I will be more careful with the DJ thing. And Ryan Poles said they're going to keep all options open. and that they love what he's brought to the team, and they're going to keep all scenarios open. Basically, what that tells me is if there's a way that they can, get rid of him, and let's just say, for example, a Max Crosby trade, I think he'll be out of here. But I think it's going to come to a place where it's got to be the Bears are getting the most bang for their buck. I don't think they're just going to let him walk out the building, especially since he just signed a contract extension like a year ago. So, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. This is an offensive team now, which I never thought those words ever uttered. Talk about the Chicago Bears, but this is an offensive team now. So going for one in the fourth round wouldn't surprise me either.
All right. Not going to spend a lot of time on this. Are we sure Caleb's the answer? Are we sure he's the guy? Okay, that he doesn't turn into a Trubisky. He doesn't turn into a Grossman. He doesn't fall apart like Cutler. Are we sure he's the guy?
1,000,000% sure. I'm more sure about that than anything I've been in my life. The thing with Rex Grossman was never good. he was never good. I'm not, granted, I was only in my teenage years when the Bears lost the Super Bowl. I was 18, but I remember all of those.
All right.
I still got a problem with Rex Grossman. Mr. Trubisky, it wasn't even close to even Caleb's best game last year. I think the sky's the limit for Caleb. I think he can only get better from here.
All right. Great. That's what I want to hear. Hope your coach feels that way, because I still think he has some doubts, but we will see. Scott Lewis, 79th and Hallis is the podcast. Follow him on X, Barb Chair Scott. Barb Chair Scott. Hey, thanks for doing this, particularly at this hour. Get through the winter, okay?
Will do. Always great to talk to you guys.
All right. Hit you up before the draft.
Yes, sir.
All right. Scott Lewis. Very kind of him to join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, where all our guests join us. The one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
I must say, one of the many things about the podcast world is you get some different people, but they really know their teams. Mm-hmm. Scott Lewis is not the typical media guy that you normally see working for a newspaper or TV station, but that man knows the Bears inside and out. When you heard him talking about the front office stuff, you heard him talking about the move, he's in. He gets it and understands everything about it, and does a great job on the Bears.
He's there every day. Talk to a couple of people who cover the Bears. They're like, oh no, he's here every day. Every day. Trust me, everybody knows who he is. And he knows his stuff, and he's got good sources. Okay? That's why we have him on the show, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we kind of want to know what's going on, right? Not just fill time and have it be bad.
Yeah, I mean
that's what Miller and Moulton, right? That's what Miller and Moulton are for. I mean, the guests got to pick this show up.
More Mariah Carey talk on the other side.
Oh, jeez. I will say my phone. Once again, it's like when we do poll questions. One is sports and one is not. And the one is not gets 3 times. My phone is blowing up about our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame segment. All right. The whole rest of the show, which has been pretty good. Yeah. I don't know. How you guys doing today? Okay. All right. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Hey, Southwest Florida, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. For you that haven't tried us yet, you gotta get in here and try my favorite 5 Chicago-style sandwiches. I got the Italian beef, I got the Italian sausage, the sausage and beef, the Maxwell Street Polish, and our soon-to-be famous breaded steak. Call us at either one of our locations in Bonita Springs and Fort Myers. And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
At the Diamond District, we believe more is more.
More diamonds, more selection, more fire. You truly can have it all.
During our diamond event, March 6th through 8th.
Layered bracelets, dazzling earrings, statement rings. Because when it comes to diamonds, more is more.
Then leave drenched in diamonds, March 6th through 8th. Only at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Jason and Todd at The Diamond District.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Son of a blank. Blank.
You need to go?
I really probably should take this call.
Go ahead, take it. Just mute yourself. Come back when you can.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The Diamond District bonus hour, Miller and Moulton. Pretty good show for you so far. We've talked a little Pirates as we've been going through a lot of the teams that we can, mostly obviously in the Eastern time zone. It's a hell of a lot easier. But we talked with John Perrotto about the Pirates in the 7 o'clock hour. We talked with Greg Wyshynski about the National Hockey League in the 8 o'clock hour, along with just having Scott Lewis to talk some Bears. Last night, the Lightning come back from the long break for the Olympics and picked up right where they left off. Kucherov, a goal and 2 assists, his 30th goal of the season. He now has 700 career assists, and the Lightning win against Toronto. The Gators were impressive once again on the road. Game was, I think, 64-64 mid-second half. Gators went on a little 7-0 run, ended up winning by double digits. They're clearly the best team in the SEC. We discussed whether or not they could be a 1 seed. I don't think so. David says the possibility still exists, but I definitely think they're a 2. UConn destroyed St. John's last night in what was supposed to be a good matchup. St. John's missed 24 consecutive shots in the second half. 24. That's tough to do.
They ended the game missing their last 24 shots. Ended the game. 17 and a half minutes left on the clock. They don't score a bucket for the final 17 and a half minutes of a game. Honestly, if you went to your daughter who's 11 and you went to her middle school or grade school game, wouldn't you expect 1 bucket in 17 and a half minutes of game action?
Yes, you would. Yes, as a matter of fact, you would. So last night, and UConn's one of the reasons I don't think the Gators can be a 1, if you know what I mean, because we've got Arizona, we've got Duke, we've got Michigan, we've got Houston. And then to me, UConn's the next team that can get a 1.
You know what? That I think is the roadblock for the Gators because, Mark, I don't know. Can you really give the Big 12 2 1s between Arizona, Iowa State, and Houston? Okay. Now, Arizona, to me, of the 3, deserves a 1.
Well, I think they're a lock, right? I mean, things would have to go horribly wrong in the next couple of weeks for Arizona not to get 1. Like, I think Duke, Michigan, and Arizona are 1s unless they screw it up.
I agree. But to me, like, I could see Iowa State, Houston both being 2s, and the final 1 seed comes down to UConn or Florida. Now, the Gators have 6 losses and UConn has 3. So,
and both Iowa State and Houston have 4. And, you know, when you're talking about Arizona, Houston, and Iowa State, who have a combined 10 losses in what's arguably the best conference in the country, you could argue Big 12, you could argue Big 10, because we're still, you know, you've got Kansas in there that's a pretty damn good team. You got Texas Tech, who's good, could have been really good if it wasn't for their player getting injured for the rest of the season there. So I know where you're coming from. The SEC is down from a year ago. Yeah, so I think that to me, there's a handful of roadblocks. The Big 12's much better. UConn, and the fact that the SEC's down this year.
I'll tell you what, though, the Big East is down. The Big East is really down. Let me just throw this at you. Scenario. Arizona wins the Big 12. So they kind of make sure that Iowa State and Houston are on the 2 line. it comes
and
down.
You're talking about regular season, because for the record, David, conference tournaments don't mean a damn bit anymore. They don't, not for seeding.
Okay, so you don't think it matters if Florida wins the SEC championship and St. John's beats UConn in the Big East final?
No, I don't think it makes a damn bit of difference. I don't think conference tournaments matter anymore. You'd have to find a time, and I'm sure we could dig and find one, but tell me the last time winning a conference tournament really mattered for seeding for someone. It puts a team in the tournament if they steal a bid, but it doesn't do it to secure a 1 seed. We've watched it too many times that a good team's, gone and won the Big 10, Big 12 SEC tournament, and it doesn't really help their seeding.
By the way, do you just put UConn 1 and Florida 2 and put them in the same region?
No, I got no problem with that.
Because also, aren't they the last 3 national champions?
Yeah, what I would love, because I'm a little more snarky than that, is give Houston or Iowa State the 1, but then put UConn and Florida as the top 2s, because I said it earlier in the week. No one wants to see Florida in their bracket right now.
Nope.
I'm telling you.
No, I agree with you. But wow, what a run this is by the Gators. 8 in a row, and they are just beating people too. And I mean, if they run the table, don't see how they're anything worse than a 2.
I'm with you. And so, I don't think the Big Ten has, Purdue right now is the next best Big Ten team. I don't see Purdue with a path to a 1 seed.
No,
I don't
either. In fact, I think Purdue's fighting to be a 2.
I was just going to say, it's more likely for Purdue to be a 3 than be a 1, if you know what I mean. Like, I think they've got a shot at a 2 seed, and they would go a long way by doing it tonight, beating Michigan State at home. But I don't see a path for Purdue to get that last 1. I think we're looking at 6 teams right now, and I don't think the Gators are one of them. I just don't.
Well, think about it. If you've got the 3 locks, and let's just say UConn is the 4th one, and we push Iowa State and Houston to the 2 and the Gators to the 2, hell, there's only one more spot on the 2 line.
I think Illinois got a better shot at being a 2 than Purdue.
Well,
I don't care what the coaches' rankings tell me.
So, all of a sudden, that's why I think the second week of the tournament this year is going to be fantastic. Fantastic. Think about now the teams that are going to be 3s and 4s. Michigan State,
Kansas is going to be a 4.
Right. Arkansas could be a 4 or a 5.
Right.
St. John's is a 4 or a 5.
Where are the Zags going to be? They're still a good team, but are they a 3 or a 4?
Yeah, I don't see how they're better than a 3.
Right.
First, who have they beaten, number 1? And number 2, you lost at Portland. That's a killer.
No, I know, but I'm just it doesn't mean they can't beat a 1 on if they play their best game. That's my point.
No, I agree. I mean, all of a sudden you turn around and you've got a Houston Gonzaga Sweet 16 in a 2-3. Oh, damn.
Styles make a fight. Sign me up for that one right now.
Right. Where are we putting Nebraska?
You know what, David? David.
Uh-oh.
All right. Of the top 16 seeds, and I am just going to grant you that Nebraska is going to get a 4 seed.
Okay.
If we were to line up and you pick whoever you want to put Virginia, Kansas, Texas Tech, St. John's, Arkansas. If right now you just put whatever 16 teams you want, and I were to say Nebraska is the most likely team to not get to the Sweet 16, I'll give you the damn field.
Okay. They are going to win a tournament game for the first time. Okay. Although they could be in the dreaded 5-12. But I'm just wondering. I mean, Nebraska right now, I think, would be a 4 most everywhere. I mean, it's funny. You think they'd be the most likely of the top 16 seeds to not make the second week. Yet, if they hit their 3s, they're a dangerous team. They can shoot it for one night in the tournament. That's a dangerous team. I don't think they can win 4. Okay,
They're
I think
4-3 in February. Just so you know, they're 4-3 in February.
Yep, they were undefeated heading to February, though.
Right.
I mean, right. So I just think the tournament's the second week of first off, even the second round games.
Well, there you go. And we'll get good first round games. Will be because there's a bunch of competitive SEC teams. There's a bunch of these 8-9 games can be good. These 6-11 games can be good.
Yeah, but I mean, look at who could be 5s. North Carolina, Texas Tech, although losing their best player. Alabama or Arkansas. I know BYU just lost to UCF. Okay,
Vanderbilt can play with anybody. They're going to be a 5 or a 6. No, I'm with you. I'm with you, David.
I think the deeper we get into this tournament, I think the matchups are going to be spectacular.
And look no one wants to play Alabama in the second round either, because their A game's really good. They don't play any defense, but if they start scoring and they match up against the right team and they're playing a game that's in the high 80s, don't rule out the Crimson Tide in a second round game, if you know what I mean.
Listen, this is probably a faulty theory of mine, but guys play harder in the tournament. Guys who don't normally D up will D up a little bit in a tournament scenario. Mark, we've seen it covering the small conference tournaments where guys will play harder and do things that they hadn't done all year. Why? Because it's win or go home. All right. And that's why I'm telling you, I think Bama, I think Arkansas, I think Illinois, I think they're very dangerous in the tournament. I know they don't D up. They don't D up in the winter. Okay. Mid-March, that's a totally different time of the year. I don't care what the calendar says.
So we're getting fired up. The madness not too far away. Conference tournaments are going to get going here in a couple of weeks. Small conference tournaments even before that. So it is the time of the year in college basketball. We've probably talked more. You and I have been doing this for damn near 20 years, David. We've talked as much college basketball this winter as we ever have. Be prior to March, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Season basketball this year's been damn good.
Got off to a great start. Best November scheduling by far in the history of the sport. The dudes played each other. It was great for the sport. Great for the sport. And it got you and I interested, I'll tell you that. I don't know if it got it. Hey, the ratings.
Well, no, it did. The ratings were good.
Yep, the ratings are good. So
the Fox is throwing these Friday night games at us, and they've had good competitive games, whether it's been a Big 12 game or a Big 10 game.
Yep.
ESPN obviously going to give you all the SEC stuff. The ACC's been competitive, not great, but competitive.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina went and beat Duke. Miami's having a good year. There's a couple of, Virginia, who's a perennial team in college basketball. They're pretty good this year. And they're not playing games in the 40s.
No, they're not. Tell you what, tough loss for SMU at Cal last night. That starts getting you very close to the bubble. You start losing games like that. All right.
And then you've got the Miami story with the University of Miami, Ohio being undefeated. So there's a lot of fun out there in the college hoop world. Diamond District Bonus Hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, David, I didn't send it to you because I know you don't have Facebook, but I always go through Facebook because one of the local news stations puts a lot of stories on there, and they end up being good, bad, and ugly stories. One of them was about Fort Myers Beach, and I happened to click on it. And it was a nothing story. It's just some beach renovation crap. But the woman who was doing the story about all the piles of sand that are there right now had a significant amount of work done.
Okay.
She was well endowed.
Okay.
And I immediately go to the comments. And the comments are off the charts. So I knew Cassio's on Facebook. I immediately sent it to him last night. He didn't see it till this morning. I get in all caps, LMFAO.
That's great.
I mean, it's borderline. He's like, people are ruthless. She looks ridiculous, but people are something. And he's right on both accounts. But I mean, the first shot is a tight shot, chest up of her. And it's something. I mean, I couldn't get to the comments fast enough. I've got it at 6.5, Javier. I don't know what Hard Rock is. That's just on my score app. You may be right on Hard Rock. They only have right now. I've only got 4 games on the Hard Rock app, unless something is not right. This is wild. I can't even get it on Hard Rock right now. So I sent Trent a gift. Just a little thanks for helping out. And I know we're giving him some cash, but I finally found those shorts at a reasonable price. And yesterday they showed up at the house.
That's awesome.
Because I texted him, I said, what's your address and your short size? And he completely forgot that I sent it. First off, he said 30. 30. Like, I don't know if the last time I wore a 30 waist was probably the 9th grade. don't think Sparty's that good, guys. I really don't.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour as we begin to head for home on this final Thursday of February. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kerwin live from the Combine tomorrow. A couple segments with Pat tomorrow. He's been there since Tuesday. So we'll get about 3 days of gossip, insight, and a little this, a little that from Pat from the Combine tomorrow.
One story we have not gotten to today, David, that I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned it to you before the show, and you were in. We just didn't bring it up. And it's about the University of Cincinnati and Brendan Sorsby, their quarterback that transferred to Texas Tech. Cincinnati is suing Sorsby for $1 million. Cincinnati is claiming that they filed a breach of contract lawsuit. Cincinnati is seeking a $1 million buyout that apparently was part of a 2-year deal with Sorsby. This to me, and look, I'm guessing Texas Tech would have paid it if they thought they had to, because they've got the money. But we talked a lot about the penalties for tampering. But this is also seemingly a problem. And it's an easy fix to you and I, David. This is really simple. If they would collectively bargain, make these players wait for it, employees, it's nothing they'd have to worry about. Because then they could sign them to a multi-year deal. But this is, I don't know about a bigger problem than the tampering, David, but this is something I'd like to see fixed. I'd like to see a guy sign a multi-year deal and then have to keep the multi-year deal. And the school's on the hook. If they sign the wrong guy and they pay him the money and don't want to pay him, hey, you're stuck.
There you go.
Michigan has Underwood there, the quarterback, for 3 years. Underwood shouldn't be able to leave, but if he stinks, Michigan's got to pay him. That's the price of doing business. Happens all the time in the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL. And baseball, you're stuck. But in the NFL especially, where they're not guaranteed contracts, yeah, you can cut bait with a guy, but he gets his money.
Well, it's the real world. I mean, contracts run both ways.
Right.
Yeah, I'm totally on board.
I mean, it's a very simple fix, but it's a story I want to pay attention to because he clearly wanted to get out of Cincinnati and go get more money. I don't begrudge anybody getting more money. But if you signed a 2-year deal with the school and your buyout's $1 million, then you owe the school $1 million.
Yeah. Yes.
Seems pretty simple to me.
Yeah. And you should know that as you're breaking the contract and you're leaving. You basically have to say to the new school or your agent or whatever, well, listen, yeah, we're leaving. We owe them $1 million though. So make sure we get blank if I'm going to leave and have to give them a check for $1 million.
And that billionaire that's signing everybody at Texas Tech would have no problem paying it. None whatsoever.
Right.
But the deal's got to go both ways. And this is where, the school has to be liable on some part of this. If they don't want to pay a player the second year and they sign them to a 2-year deal, I'm sorry, you're stuck. I just got a text from a friend. NIL is killing college sports, not to Miller and Moulton.
Oh, well, okay. I would ask him to say it may be killing your affection for it, but ask him honestly, have you stopped watching? Because by the way, the ratings for everything are up. Now, You can say the ratings for a lot of things are up because of the new system of getting ratings. Okay. But college football ratings are up across the board. College basketball ratings are up across the board. College baseball, college softball, even college hockey and golf.
Gavin
Seriously.
McKinnon is not playing for Penn State without NIL. He's playing Canadian junior hockey. It doesn't matter the sport. Like you said, softball, baseball, it doesn't matter. So you may be upset about NIL. You may not like that the payments are out in the open, but it's not from where we sit, it's not hurting people's affinity towards the sports. They may look at it totally different, but at this point, no one said I'm not watching anymore.
Now, I believe, and right now I look like I'm going to be wrong, but I have believed that we need to rein it in here pretty quickly. When Miller and Moulton advocated for what we have now, I think we both agreed, but I know I said, okay, we'll give it 3 to 5 years of chaos, and then we're got 2 to 3 years to rein it in. And I do think by the end of this decade, we need to have rules that the fan understands. Because it's professional sports. Fans understand the rules in the sports they love. They understand the NFL and the salary cap as much as you can because it's a mess. They understand the rules in baseball, basketball, hockey. They do. We need to know the rules in college football. Is that quarterback going to be here for 3 years, or can he just get up and leave at any time? I just need to know. Could depend whether or not I buy a jersey or let my kid buy a jersey. I need to know. Is every player year to year? Is every player on a 1-year contract? Whatever, then let me know. I may like it. I may go, this ain't for me.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Someone sent in, my problem with collective bargaining is that you open yourself up to strikes, and who's going to negotiate the deal? What happens if this class doesn't like the deal the last class bargained? Trust us. Those are great points. Yes, strikes could be a part of it. The other part that we see with collective bargaining, however, that David and I have both agreed upon, is this is where the schools are going to win. They're only there for 3 or 4 years. This is where they could rein this in. We think this would actually rein it in. The problem right now is the conference commissioners can't even get on the same page. Greg Sankey's worried about what? The SEC. Tony Petitti's worried about what? The Big Ten. So they don't care if they're tampering with the other conference and taking their players. They're just trying to be the best. And we don't. This is where I hope you're right, David, but I'm scared you're not going to be, is that we don't ever see a point where there's one voice in college sports. There are too many people that rule college sports, and we don't ever see Petitti and Sankey, for instance, being one person and there being a commissioner of college sports, because then someone has to give up power. And that's the problem that I see going forward, that they've all got to get on the same page. And maybe you're right, David, with this tampering thing. If they start hammering penalties down, and it's one voice doing it, maybe then the commissioners can get on the same page. But right now, they're not.
There is going to be a reckoning in 5 years. The TV contracts are up in 5 years. The playoff contract, whether they change it to 12 or 14 or 16 or 24, the contracts with ESPN only go through 2031. The whole sport is facing a television, i.e. money reckoning, in 5 years. Very quietly, the SEC and the Big Ten are going to court to overturn an act that Congress passed in 1961, which would essentially allow them to redo how the sport is televised. And there are a lot of people that believe that there's 3 times the money for college football television rights than what they're getting now, and that they need to figure out how to do it. Just saying, get as many of these rules passed in the next 5 years, because the 2030s are going to be something.
Miller and Moulton. As someone in our Twitch chat room says, limit all NI deals to 1 year. Well, then that means the players are changing teams every year. Okay. Is that what you really want? Because I'm not getting that from the fan. The fan wants to be able to identify with the kid for 3 years. Yes. They don't want him playing for Miami 1 year, Florida State the next, and the Gators the third. They just don't want it. And with NIL deals 1 year, that's exactly what would happen.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass. Your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Remember that situation I was talking about right before the show?
Mm-hmm.
11:30 today.
Attaboy. Okay. Is that what the call was for, I'm sure?
Yeah. I recognized the number and I said, well, that's either thumbs up or thumbs down. And it's no big deal if it was going to be thumbs down.
No, not at all. Aurora, you and my wife both like Duke. I don't. And my wife is sitting right next to me. She's well aware.
Right. And I'm moderately fond of her. In fact, more than moderately.
Yeah. Much more than moderately.
And she doesn't think I look like an egg. And I still don't like Duke.
My daughter. First text of the morning. Good morning, egg.
Egg.
She is so proud of herself right now. She thinks she is so damn funny.
Hey, listen, come on. She is so you.
Yeah.
So great.
That's what you wanted. You got one. I've got one right there too.
Yep. But man, oh man. It for us though, it's great because from about 13 through 16, they go to war with mom. And we are the best people in the world. It's so great.
Ooh, I'll take that. I don't see that, but I'll take any Kiefer sub.
Ooh. Okay. How about Boston Legal, the NBC drama.
Never seen it.
He was a hitman.
You're on your own here.
Yeah, God, I could see his face. He was part of the Brat Pack in the late 80s there.
Andrew McCarthy?
No, he lost all his hair.
I can't help you.
Yes, James Spader.
Okay. By the way, started watching Ted Lasso because I wanted to watch it with the wife. So we started watching it. I only watched a couple episodes. I've laughed both times. It's going to be good. You can, yep. And this is just the setup. I mean, obviously they're just getting going.
I didn't watch it when it originally aired. And so I binge watched it, and I watched like seasons, in a day. It was like 4 days for me. Season 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 boom. I loved it. I watched it a little bit, Deadstruck. I did. I thought he was amazing on Boston Legal. Him and Shatner were hysterical. Tenny Crane. On me.
That hurts. I'm looking at James Spader right now. You're killing me.
Well,
he does have one of the best lines ever, though, when he's talking to McCarthy in Pretty in Pink. Your parents are going to know whether it's shit or go sailing. I'd never heard that line before or after, and it just killed me.
My father always used to say, "You don't know whether to or wind your watch."
Yeah, that I've heard, I've heard.
Right.
But the blanker goes sailing, I had never heard before. That one killed me. I do too, Aurora. One of my favorites. It really is.
Aurora, you and my wife.
Javier, you're killing me. You're absolutely killing me.
Oh, come on, Javier.
That's an ugly man. I don't think I'm that ugly. You're killing me, Javier.
And he looked like an axe murderer. Come on.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Twenty-two minutes till we're done for the day. Miller and Moulton, MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Hey, I didn't throw it in the starting five. Never threw it in as kind of a tidbit. I meant to do it when I threw in that Jim Furyk's going to do a couple of golf tournaments in the booth for the Golf Channel.
I know where you're going here.
Did you see what the story that got broke last night about NBC and Sunday Night Football?
Tony Dungy out.
Yeah, they're going to revamp Sunday Night Football. Why? It's the #1 rated primetime show for a dozen years, right?
Well, first off, he's a bit player. I mean, he's barely a supporting actor. I don't even know if Dungy gets a supporting actor nomination with how many people they have on that show.
Okay.
Because he's not on the panel before. Right. He's not part of the, obviously play-by-play analyst job. He's in that third group. So, was it he and Collinsworth's kid and Rodney Harrison? That's their little trio, right?
Uh-huh. No. I have no problem getting rid of Tony. I thought Tony had outlived his usefulness. I don't think he says much anymore. And I'll be brutally honest with you. If you voted against Bill Belichick making the Hall of Fame, you shouldn't have a job in football. I'm sorry. So I have no problem being the boss at NBC and telling Tony that. You didn't vote for Belichick. You're an idiot. I can't put you out in front of the American people. Okay? I'm sorry. And next, okay, but I just meant apparently they're going to revamp the Sunday Night Football lineup. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
2 words for you, David. Mike Tomlin.
He always swore he'd never, quote, go to the dark side.
I understand, but they pay a lot.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. But if you're going to Sean Payton, he did a year. Who's some of the others? Like Pat Riley in between the Lakers and the Knicks did a year with NBC. I mean, let me just ask you, if you're the network, okay, is that worth it to you? Because Tomlin's getting back into coaching.
No, not to me.
Right. It's not to me either.
And it's not to me if I'm Tomlin, if I'm going back in a year. I would rather take the year off, when you get consulted and a team wants to bring, whether it's a college team or a pro team, that you can go around and see how other people do business, because it would make you a better coach. Doing a NBC gig isn't going to make you a better football coach.
Well, plus he's got a family. I mean, I would just soak up the year with my family. That
I understand, but during Monday through Friday, if I'm invited to go to a practice, I'm going.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I mean just the whole to not have a full-time gig. Like if I was Tomlin, I'd want time off.
I'm with you.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Not a lot, but some fun ones today. 1919 is where we start. President Wilson officially designates the Grand Canyon as a national park. Obviously, one of America's most popular tourist attractions, so you can thank President Wilson. 10 years later, Calvin Coolidge said, "Hold my beer," and establishes the Grand Teton National Park. I mean, not the Grand Canyon, but a pretty good park. 1966, the #1 song in America is by Nancy Sinatra. "These Boots Are Made for Walking." Great use of that song in Full Metal Jacket, since that was brought up during the break when somebody took a shot at me. 1967, Mario Andretti wins his only NASCAR event, the Daytona 500, the only time a driver born outside the U.S. has ever won the Great American Race. Today in 1974, Nike receives a patent for its waffle trainer running shoes. Co-founder Bill Bowerman invented the now iconic soles in a waffle iron over breakfast. He was the coach of the Oregon track team. Phil Knight was one of his runners. They were unsatisfied with running footwear. They tinkered with the shoes to make them lighter and faster. And now that wedged heel is infamous. David started stealing cassette tapes today in 1983 because Michael Jackson's Thriller goes #1. It would stay there for 37 weeks. Cult classic Bloodsport was released today in 1988. If you're my age, you've seen it 607 times. 1989, proof that nobody in our business is safe. Tom Landry, fired by the Dallas Cowboys. The first World Trade Center bombing was today in 93, killing 6 and injuring over 1,000. 2002, a great album. See, she's not worthy of the Rock Hall of Fame or never needs to be nominated, but it doesn't make Norah Jones' debut album, Come Away With Me, any less great. Amazing voice. Would sell over 10 million copies. And David, today in 2017, Kurt Busch wins the 500 because Kyle Larson runs out of gas on the last lap. Jeffrey Earnhardt raced, becoming the first ever 4th generation driver to compete at the 500. Levi Strauss, big in jeans. Buffalo Bill, big in cowboy hats. Grover Alexander, big in pitching. Jackie Gleason, just plain big. Tony Randall, Fats Domino, Johnny Cash, and Al Troutwig would have all celebrated birthdays today. Hockey great, USA hockey great. Joe Mullen is 69, and Marshall Faulk is 53. What did I miss, David?
Don't you think Marshall Faulk could be like a RB2 today and come in, give you 8 to 12 carries and still get it done?
Yes.
Catch a few passes.
He can
on
catch
third down.
3rd and 3. He might be able to get you a first down going out in the flat.
I just, man. Did you have Trayvon Martin?
I did not.
Shot and killed today 14 years ago. That became a thing.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you got, Mark?
I'm giving you a big heads up for the good, for all you wannabe astronomers out there. on Saturday night, 6 planets will be visible in the night sky. Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, all visible on Saturday night. They line up. You'll need a telescope to view Uranus and Neptune, but it's the best shot to see all 6 planets about an hour after sunset.
Wow.
Yeah, why not, right?
Sure.
For the bad, we go to Canada, and not because they didn't win the gold medal. It's not getting old. It's really not getting old.
You and Wyshynski.
But we go to Ontario, Ottawa, actually. Oh, yeah. The capital of Canada, where flags are probably at half mast because they didn't win the gold medal.
Oh,
but Michael Borg was walking near Prince of Wales Drive when he spotted a couple of turkeys. He said he didn't think much of it, and very Canadian. He said, "Hey, what's up, turkeys?" And turkeys didn't like the way he talked to them because they began running after him. Witness Jody Paul captured video as he tried to escape the turkeys by fleeing and kicking snow. That didn't slow the turkeys down. He's running down the road while being chased by the turkeys. In a very Canadian way, he jumped in a total stranger's car to get away from the charging turkeys. He said, "I jumped in a total stranger and she didn't hesitate to offer assistance, which is kind of nice. She's just some random lady in a car and I look like the Unabomber. So she's like the one who's reaching out here. And honestly, I just want to get away from these turkeys. I was not in the mood for turkey business." Finally, the ugly, we go to Pennsylvania, where people never surprise me just how stupid they can be. Pocono Pines is where we go, where officers responded to a fire. The person who started the fire, Sean McDermott, was lighting small fires in his home throughout the day. He told witnesses he was lighting the fires to try to kill spiders. He left the area. The townhome was fully engulfed, and other homes were affected because of this idiot's actions. He was arrested. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, February the 26th. And it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, offering great pay, signing bonuses, great benefits, overtime opportunities, and more. For more information on police jobs and other jobs within the Cape Coral Police Department, capecops.com, capecops.com.
Well, it's you and Raj against each other tonight.
It is. It is, and it's at Mackey.
Yeah, both teams 22-5. 8th ranked Purdue hosting 13th ranked Michigan State. Are you boys ready? 8 o'clock, it's on.
Oh, I'm ready. Mark, I know that Sparty hasn't had a lot of success in Mackey lately, but 7.5 seems like a lot of points.
It does, but I don't like the way Michigan State's playing right now. They don't score enough. And if Purdue can shoot, which I think they can, I like the Boilermakers tonight, but I would take the 7.5, all things being equal.
It's on Peacock at 8
Which
o'clock.
means it may be on the NBC Sports Network as well, for those of you that don't get Peacock. They've kind of screwed us that bought Peacock with these college basketball games. I mean, it's been great. It was great for the Olympics, but now they're trying to start this network, and they're putting a lot of Peacock games on NBC Sports Network.
10 games in the association tonight. Heat are in Philly at 7. Houston's in Orlando. Magic back home after the 3-1 West Coast swing. Houston, Orlando's on Amazon Prime at 7:30. So there. The nightcap for the double dip is T-Wolves Clippers.
Panthers hosting the Leafs tonight. The Panthers, you heard Wyshynski say it, 18% chance to make the playoffs. I mean, David, they've got to win 16, 17 games out of the remaining, and that means losing a few in overtime, if you know what I mean. They've got to put together a gaudy record if they're going to make the postseason.
Okay. Usually, at worst, it's 94 points needed. There have been times where you've needed the upper 90s.
And they're talking higher than that this year based on how good teams are playing.
Well, then fine. Just pick a number. How many points do you think you need to get the final playoff spot in the East? And we can do the math very quickly.
I think it's 95. I really do.
Okay, well then the Panthers need 34 points in their final 25 games. 17-6-2, that's 36 points. So
that's about right. I think that's about what they have to do,
okay,
David.
So there you go. So 17 wins or 15, 16 wins, and they need 2 to 4 overtime losses, shootouts, etc.
Here's the thing, like with Detroit, who I'm scared to death about. Detroit has 23 regulation wins. So do the Panthers. Montreal has 21 regulation wins. So, Ottawa has 22, Boston 24, just for what it's worth when it comes down to tiebreakers. So I think this is, the Panthers have to be damn near perfect at home, David. They really do.
They're in last place in their division.
Yep.
And we're talking about them making the playoffs.
Well, they've won the cup a couple years in a row, so you can't count them out.
I get it. I just putting it in perspective. That's all. There's only 2 teams in the conference who have less points than them. So
Lightning at Carolina tonight. That could be a conference final preview for what it's worth.
Well, and also Carolina's only 2 points behind the Lightning. Now, Lightning have a game in hand, but do you think home ice is important in the conference finals? If so, the regular season standings are important. John Cooper, this is the second game he's going to miss because of the death of his dad.
My Wings are in Ottawa. It's one of the teams that they're ahead of that they've got to stay ahead of. Ottawa, pretty big favorite, minus 145 tonight.
I do want to say college hoops, much closer to home. Jacksonville's hosting Stetson. They're both in the bottom half of the A-Sun. FGCU just swept a 4-game homestand. They're at North Florida, who's tied for last.
6.5 point favorite.
North Florida's tied for last in the league. FGCU's got a real chance, to win. Now, unfortunately for them, they're kind of locked in as the 5 seed, which means they don't get a first-round bye, but they're going to play the last-place team in the league in the first round of the conference playoffs. Telling you, 4 in a row. They got 2 games on the road that they'll be favored in. I think it's North Florida and Stetson to end the season. And then they'll, in all likelihood, win their first round A-Sun playoff game. That would be 7 in a row. And they'd be 3 wins away from the tournament. FGCU's got a shot here. They had a miracle win the other night at home. I'm wondering if it's going to springboard them to something really special.
You going?
No, I'm not.
All right. I just didn't know. The daughter went to UNF. I didn't know if it was a rivalry game in the Moulton House.
It's
people don't realize what a good line that was.
Yeah, it really was. It's funny too, because the wife and the daughter have UNF stuff, and I paid for, but I have the FGCU stuff. Miller and Moulton, Pat Kerwin tomorrow. We'll talk then.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home.